Good, we're live. We're on.
Hi.
This is it.
E3.
E3 just happened.
Okay,
so E3 has officially started. Congratulations, everyone. Welcome to E3. I am Brandon Jones. This is Ryan Stevens.
That's me.
This is Justin Spear. Are we not on? And we're GameTrailers.com.
Just defense.
And we're going to be talking about E3 for the next 3 hours. We're going to be bringing all sorts of people in. It's just the three of us now. But we will be filling in 3 or 4 people at a time to talk about E3. I don't even know where to start with E3. I mean, you know, there's the things I'm excited about E3 from a business sense.
What's up? The light. Hit that light.
There's things I'm excited about that I know I quote-unquote should be excited about. I'm interested in playing Project Beast. It's a crazy E3. What are you excited about, Ryan?
Webums. I mean, GIFs are dead, so long live the Webums. I think we're going to see some really good memes turned into Webums this year. No, I think this is going to be an interesting E3. I got to go to some of the Judges Week stuff this year, and I've done that in the past. And I think as we see companies like now THQ's officially gone, and we see some companies fill the void, but not so many, and then games become so expensive to produce. We're also getting a lot of like indie games and side things that are trying to get us out of the conference hall and check out some other cool stuff.
Music? Stop music.
You excited about music?
Oh yeah, hey chat.
Like just grooving on the music, I guess.
Hi guys, can you hear us okay and
Music
stuff like
louder.
that?
Someone said music louder. Man.
Okay, I know we're on the 45-second delay, technical difficulties. You know,
I'm sorry, repeat that entire statement, Ryan.
I think in general, you know, I think there's going to be surprises. I think a lot of the surprises are going to be at the press conferences, and there'll be some on the show floor as well. Like, I mean, what dropped this week? Not to retread the not posted yet episode of Let's All Go to the Trailers, but we saw, Mortal Kombat,
Yeah.
Dark Souls 2,
Forza Horizon,
Hunt, The Witcher.
Right.
I mean, that Witcher trailer was like, you know, that's the hotness. And you know, this stuff's gonna pay off. As Bloodriff's probably said like 80 times, is like people have seen The Witcher now for over a year, pretty much, or almost a year. But not everyone has seen The Witcher, and I think that's got to happen. And I think that's got to happen for a lot of games, and a lot of things got to be solidified.
Blood was saying he saw the demo from last year. He's like, there's still some stuff like I saw in that demo that wasn't even in the trailer that we got recently.
Right.
What are you pumped for?
Oh, I don't know. Witcher is a big one. To see the game running and have it demoed, probably going to happen. Probably going to be pretty awesome. Other than that, yeah, looking forward to press conferences, I guess.
Witcher does seem too good to be true, because it's like that rare meeting of like the developer being super, super excited and saying lots of amazing things about it, and like all of the stuff we've seen so far, you know, supporting that. So yeah, hopefully that continues.
Oh yeah, Last Guardian, of course.
Kyle was going on and on about that.
I don't know who's winning that bet.
I kind of expected
that. GT time, the standing bet for E3 is that what'll be the longest trailer in any press conference. I think I said 6.5 minutes, Metal Gear Solid 5. He said like 7 minutes, Last Guardian.
And not to completely be a shill, but you're working on the live show on Monday.
Yes.
On Spike, and
right.
we're going to be live streaming that as well. I'm really curious to see how Jack Tretton acts as a co-host. I think that's really cool and kind of funny, and see what he's gonna, you know, what's he gonna say about, you know, Microsoft and Nintendo and Sony as well.
But looking back,
honestly curious.
Well, looking back, we had Peter Molyneux last year, and it was the same question. It's like, what's this guy gonna be like? We actually just get him up there to, you know, it wasn't as big as him leading, you know, something like Sony, but he got the chance to talk about games he had worked on and other stuff.
He had Goddess, and he didn't do anything with it. I remember because we were waiting, and he like moved it once
or something.
And it was
we
like,
had no idea what that was gonna be. It was just
Yeah.
like, okay, he'll just get up there and do something.
You're in the cube.
He was pretty chilled out for the most part.
Molyneux.
Jack Tretton,
He's a
a
cool
little
guy.
more of exciting of a guest than Peter Molyneux.
Yeah, I mean
probably.
that mic drop. You know, who knows where that's going to lead
And
to.
Jack's really genuine, which is I think one of the biggest things I like about him. Like, I've spent a lot of the last couple weeks going through press conferences from E3 2013 and just scrubbing through performances. Like, everybody's so uncomfortable. Even the guys who made Transistor are like Greg is having like terrified. You know, they're just like, oh my god, all these people are looking at us. And Jack is just ice cold. Like, Jack just goes up there and isn't, you know, it's not that he's just giving this like business pitch. He's like, no, I'm really speaking to you, to the fans. Like when he says like, thank you so much for selling.
Well, that guy also speaks to the consumers a lot.
Yeah, he just seems,
But,
I don't know,
I
seems really down
understand he's
to
a
earth.
business guy, but he does seem like a cool guy.
Well, we need good business
okay.
people, you know? It's like we're good journalists, you know? It's like you need people that are really good at what they do in that position. Like, I wouldn't want Jack to develop a game, but I want him to be interesting to see what he does next.
But would you want Pactor to develop a game?
Pactor's a different story. Pactor's a wild card. Pactor, again, somebody coming in there on our live feed on Monday that who knows what he's going to be. I'm scared to read all these comments.
Is it time to move on to the memories?
Yes.
E3 Memories is our next category.
New segment.
So you
Is
guys will
E3
share
memories.
your own since you're on here, then you'll
Right.
read everybody else's.
And
Okay.
we
the
can
other
maybe
guys.
start with you, Justin, because you have the most tenure as far as E3 is concerned among the Game Trailer staff.
Yeah, this will be number 16 E3s.
This will be my 13th,
10th.
your 10th.
And Justin went to in Atlanta.
Yeah, I was in the area.
Old school.
I would have gone a year
At-
earlier
at
if I
Atlanta
realized how
E3.
easy it was to scam my way in. 'cause I
So,
was 17.
so
I couldn't
one
get into
solid
97.
E3 memory, Justin. What really got to you from E3?
In '98, Nintendo had a gigantic Pikachu in their booth, and every hour or so it would sneeze and shower Pokeballs all over the place. So there are about like 10 different ones. So everyone would like scramble to get them.
I get it.
You try to get a complete set.
Did
I
just
traded with
really-
some people like
did
you'll
just
grab
really-
them out of the
yeah.
air and then just like go to the ground. Gotta get-
Because even
gotta
with the
catch 'em
long
all.
lines at Nintendo, you don't really see the desperation. You can't really
was
capture it
crazy.
on video.
If
There's
there's a line
people
at-
like clubbing each other to get small items.
You know, if there's a line at
That's E3.
Natsume, they're handing out the plush cows. You know, that's
Right.
how it works.
So that was big, but they had to shut it down the second day. Supposedly, someone in a wheelchair got knocked over. Someone had too much Pokemon fever, and that, I don't know. But I did get a complete set, and I traded with some people.
Nothing could beat that. What year was that?
I was 98. It was
98.
insane.
You saw the best thing you've
Never
ever seen
again
at E3.
anything like that. Yeah.
What is a complete set?
I think it
years
was
ago.
maybe 10.
Okay.
10 or 12.
Uh,
yeah. Tokyo was one of them.
In 2002 when Game Trailers was founded, we went to E3 and I remember Mike Buddy being like, "Yeah, we probably should have gotten some stuff at the press conferences." I was like, "The what conferences?" Like I didn't even know. I had no idea how E3 worked. I had no idea that all that stuff was coming out even before the show started. E3 memory.
Really quick, I just want to remind everyone we are going to be streaming every night during E3. We're going to be doing all of our hands-on impressions and stuff like that. So subscribe to the Game Trailers Twitch channel, and we'll let you know when we jump on various times that week to, hands-on with all these gamer, eyes-on with some of these games.
And this is going to be, this will be real raw. This will be us literally like, we were at the show, we got in a car, we drove to this building, sat down, and we just played it, and so...
raw impressions.
Yeah.
My memory is also not particularly game related, and it's just a crazy story. E3 2007 was the year E3 was really weird. It was in Santa Monica. That's right outside this window, and it was all spread out all throughout the city. And like press conferences in all these random hotel rooms, people's booths in random hotel rooms. There's kind of a exhibition hall at the Barker Hangar, but not really.
Yeah.
I had gotten out of a press conference and I went to the bathroom in this. This story is infamous. Went to a bathroom in this like fancy hotel, and there was a guy. He was pretty young. He was probably under 30, and he was in like a full suit, like 3-piece suit. And he just said like, "God damn it!" And everyone looked at him, and he was just covered in, I'm assuming, his own urine. I'm assuming it kind of splashed at him from the urinal, and he was just like, "What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do?" And I felt so bad for that guy, but it was also a great story. It was
So
just
who do you
like,
think that
wow.
was? Why was he in a suit? You weren't in a suit.
No.
He takes E3 seriously.
I went to
the
the weirdest press conference ever. Was the Take-Two press conference at like 7 a.m. in the morning because they wanted it to open with like the markets in the East Coast, like, the NASDAQ and stuff. And it was all people with weird stock computers. And I got to see like 7 seconds of GTA 4 before anyone had seen it really in motion. I got to see the first like 10 minutes of BioShock. It was a really weird press conference. We weren't allowed to shoot it. But it was more of it was like the Take-Two investor meeting. And it was really, really weird and super early in the morning. And it had a lot of guys in suits. Not so much with the neck beards. Also, playing video games is totally rad before they come out, too.
But the
like,
urinals
that
at the
was pretty
convention
good.
center, those are okay. I've never had any problems
They're
with
like
those before.
troughs.
It's like a giant trough.
Is
yeah.
there- That's right.
It's like community peeing.
See, it's
So,
like this is
not
what
an
people-
expected memory,
crossing streets.
but
This is what people want to know about E3. My memory is super selfish because we were, right after we joined the MTV family, they built a booth for us, and I got to go over the weekend, and I believe it was on a Sunday. I went and they had the cafeteria open, and I bought a cheeseburger, and I sat down at a table across from them, like putting up the GameTrailers.com logo, and it was just all these workers that like weren't going to be there for the shoot. They were literally just the construction guys, so none of them had any idea who I was, and that was fun. Better than seeing just like somebody walk around in a t-shirt that said Game Trailers on it. And then we haven't had a booth since. We did a booth for 2 or 3 years, and then we've just We prefer
We had the
prefer
stage.
LA Live now. It's a much cooler place to hang out.
Super smash.
We had that one stage.
So yeah, just FYI, because we have a couple minutes before we need to talk about the first press conference. I will
More
be
memories.
I will be downtown LA Live, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Monday on Spike, on Game Trailers, on Xbox Live, on our iOS app, on our Android app. We will be doing a bunch of stuff on TV, and then we'll be going to online. Then we'll be jumping back to TV, and all of it's based around the press conferences. I have the rundown in my office. I've gone through it a billion times. It is super awesome. There's a lot of really cool stuff that's going to be shown. Multiple things that it's like, at the press conference, you'll see this, and then on the show, you'll see something cooler. They'll just add more to it, and like we've done before. And it's just going to be, we usually do 2 days. We're just doing the one. It's just Monday's a huge day. And anytime you see footage roll in, that will be me on the turntable.
The man behind the video.
The trailer turntable. But yeah, that should be really fun. So we'll be doing that. Speaking of live, that'll be super live.
You want to share some other people's memories?
Someone else coming in? Oh, are they not doing it when they come in? Oh, I thought everyone was going to do that.
No.
Well, here, you share some then.
Yeah, let's all share some. memories.
Well, I already read mine. Daniel Bloodworth first attended E3 in
Rob.
2002. His fondest memory is picking the brains at Retro about Metroid or the infamous Zelda Meltdown E3. Picking brains is definitely fun. When he said picking brains, I thought he was actually going to pick up brains. You said yours. Ben Moore first attended in 2013. Aw. He met Hideo Kojima and talked to him about Police Knots.
Which is supposedly a touchy subject for Kojima, so it's
I was gonna say for
lucky
Ben.
that he was able to sneak in some Police Knots questions.
Yeah.
Matt Blair's one of the guys kind of behind the scenes running the tech on the site. He went in 2008 and he got punched in the nuts by Sonic the Hedgehog. I believe it. It could have happened.
Sparrows was born the year I went to E3 for the first time. Just putting that out there.
Oh
And
my
he's-
God.
And he's chatting with us.
And Slayer wants to
A
know
human
how
being-
to emote.
Yeah, a human being the age of my E3 experiences, talking to us about E3.
Yes.
Continue.
Justin, you got yours is really well written actually. Oh, do you have your
Already did
keychain?
it. I do have my. Oh yeah, I should show my keychain.
Well, while he gets his keychain out, Michael Damiani, who's right over there,
I have the video while you-
2006, he has The Running of the Nerds. A stampede of people raced to get Nintendo's booth at the opening of the show to try to get their hands on with the Wii. If you didn't get in line within like the first hour, they turned you away for the rest of the day. I was also part of The Running of the Nerds, and they actually had a webcam
I was
doing
one
it.
of those nerds.
Jeremy with the mohawk is in that video.
Yep, a lot of us were in that video pre-GT, and probably some GTers as well. The Wii was the hot stuff at that point, and they had so much to play. I squandered my pick on Red Steel. No,
Red Steel? Steel Battalion?
not is Red Steel the one where you could go like
That's the
gangster
sideways
style?
gun.
Yeah, I played that instead of playing Mario. I made mistakes.
Rohan will be here in a second, but I feel like I should read his E3 2007, E for All 2007, how he got into the industry. He doesn't give the details. I'm not sure what he had to do, but
Maybe you can fill us in more.
found
for
the
that.
right person, I guess, and made his dreams come true.
Rob Manuel, the guy with the eyes, does like indie games. He's like.
Got the vest.
I ran around with Johnny Extreme, a character of one of our editors created for the show. He plays extreme games, breaks bottles over his crotch, and says things like, "So hot you could bake a tray of cookies in your ass." I still have one of the t-shirts. I passed out that day. I don't know if that last sentence sounds weird because it sounds like he also passed out.
What is there a period there? Like, I still have one of those T-shirts. Period. I passed out that day. Period.
Elise Willems first attended in 2013, which is pretty recent. She got to go to the Nintendo booth, play all the games, including Mario Kart 8 and A Link Between Worlds, months before release, fulfilling a lifelong dream. E3 is where dreams come true.
And Rob Slesser wrote a manifesto.
Yeah, he wrote a short story, and at the end it says, "So I spend the rest of the day hanging out with a couple of models, and the rest of E3 enjoying the show." I will show my keychain also. I've carried this keychain around for 14 years, or 16 years. Attack of the Saucer Man. I never played the game, but I got a keychain in my first E3.
What did it come out on?
It's pretty nice. I think it was PlayStation, original PlayStation.
Okay. PS1.
PS1.
We have artifacts on this show and everything. So we have a little bit more before we're going to bring in the... Anything else you want to chat about? We're going to kick you off the show in 3 minutes. What else you got, Ryan?
No, I don't think there's much else for me to say. I'll be back for some trivia and some webums. Hey, Mike, can XSplit run webums?
Don't know.
Ooh.
If we can,
You guys got any good webums out
If
there?
load them in the browser, I could screen cap them.
Okay.
And we have the top 10 anticipated games of E3 2014 coming up. How are we doing that? Is that being shown on the stream, or
He's
is that,
already got it, yeah.
He's gonna play it through the
Yeah,
stream?
yeah. So, you guys, we've been doing the 30 days of E3, where you may have seen this little fucker named Buttons has been running around the office causing all this crap. I don't like that guy, but his story has come across in these 30 days of E3, and hello, microphone.
It's like in the bottom of the frame.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
And who knows what's going to happen with that stuff? There's been some fun lead up to the E3s, and I think there's still some surprises ahead. So I will vanish. Who else is
I have to
vanishing?
vanish too.
Yep.
Yeah, we were bringing in. It's been
Yeah,
difficult for me to
Bye.
focus since we started this because Daniel Kaiser's in the room.
Don't look at my butt.
And you would think, being at Game Trailers, I would see Daniel Kaiser all the time, but I don't. So when he's close to me, I get all hot and sweaty.
My brother from another mother.
Yeah, man.
That's what I just tweeted out about you.
You're talking about working
I love you.
together for a long time.
Not how long have
It's been ages since you first came on the GT team.
Yes, it has.
Before we became a part of the MTV family, for sure.
That's right.
Oh.
Are you trying to cover up Rohan's
Is
face?
that a webm?
He's got a nice face, so you don't need to cover it up.
That's what my parents say.
And hey, Damiani, what's with putting me on at 420 just because I'm from Denver,
Yeah, nice.
right? I don't like the
Totally.
stereotype.
We're not going to take a break for okay. So the man who needs no introduction whatsoever, Mr. Rohan Rivas here.
Yeah. Angle it down a little bit. Blast off granite.
Yeah,
you can totally change
all
it.
of my hair has transferred into this man.
I got his hair.
Yeah.
So you're here. It says on the sheet that we need to talk about the Xbox press conference, but Kaiser E3, real quick. I mean, you're pumped, right? You're feeling it?
I am. This year, obviously, last year was so huge because of the hardware reveals and just all the expectation of what we're going to see on those platforms. And there's so much high saturation of like really big, meaningful stuff. This year is a lot more like, okay, where are we going to go over the next couple of years? And it's going to be great. We got great stuff lined up for Mondays. All access at E3 2014 coverage on Spike TV and Game Trailers. Make sure you tune in. But no, I'm really excited about that, and we have some great stuff lined up. But in general, there's in order for those big years to happen, there have to be years where it's a little,
Right.
and we're on one of those. We're building back up,
Yeah.
But there's a lot of great stuff. I'm personally very excited for The Witcher. Nintendo better show Zelda. I'll get to that right now. But lots of great stuff.
Yeah, it's all about the games this year.
It is.
Hardware is out the door. It's in people's homes. It's all about the games, and that's what their big focus is this year. All of the big three, Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, but also the third party as well. All focus is on the games.
Yes, as a gaming trade show should be.
Right. Somebody just asked when there will be blood. When will there be blood?
Oh,
Yeah,
Bloodworth will be on
will-
in a little bit.
Yes, Bloodworth.
That's
will
what
be
people
on.
always demand, blood. So there's this infamous order to these press conferences, and
Yeah.
for the last couple of years, Microsoft has stepped up to the plate to kick it off. That didn't work out well for them last year because they kind of came out with their argument, and then Sony kind of put a cap on that at the end of the day. But they're starting at the beginning of the day. What will they start with? What will they end with? I think they'll end with Halo. I'm looking forward to Halo multiplayer. I think that'll be a great way to wrap out the show.
Yeah.
Actually bring some dudes out playing games. Love it when Microsoft does that. But what to open? What are you expecting, Microsoft?
Well, they should go as big and as strong with games as possible. They cannot put the last 12 months behind them any faster than they humanly possible. They need to get it behind them. They have been working, and we have to give credit where credit's due that they actually have done a lot to kind of address some of this stuff. And a lot of people say, and I agree, that they're just fixing what should have been righted in the first place. But they are fixing it, and for a company of that size to actually have the agility to do that in that time frame, I think is commendable. So I'm excited to see what they come out with. To answer your question, they should come out with Halo and tease it and then end with it again. That's what everybody wants to see. Everyone needs to justify the purchases for the Xbox One. So that's what they need to hit strong with, and of course Gears, maybe something would come out of the gate strong with Gears as well.
Yeah, so what's interesting is we didn't see an announcement that they're dropping Kinect and dropping the price at E3. They actually did that before the show. They could have easily have put that into their press conference. So what that tells me is that they're going to focus heavily on games. We know, we know Halo's going to be a part of the show, obviously. But like you said, Gears of War, Black Tusk is working on a new Gears game.
It's huge.
So I expect to see something from them
Yeah.
for Gears, but
That's
they,
first gear for them.
Yes.
Here
but
we
they
go.
There's
They-
your pun.
one.
Someone asked
Wait,
for a
but
pun.
Wait, no.
they have to surprise people. They have to drop. They have to drop a surprise third-party game. Somebody mentioned in chat Platinum Games. Like if they had like a huge debut of a new Platinum Games title,
Yeah.
that would be incredible. They need to really drum up third-party support for their platform.
Anything Connect, is that just going to be super uncomfortable? Is any mention of any kind of anything?
I can't imagine that they would entirely ditch it, even though they are ditching it. They've
Right.
spent so long trying to convince us that we need this as a next-gen type of experience. I have a hard time imagining that they would just abandon it altogether. I think there'll definitely be some presence for Kinect, but it's definitely taking a back seat to the main core game, and they realize this. And a lot of this, Phil Spencer's been someone who has I've done interviews with him over the last several years during our E3 coverage, and now that he's the head of Xbox, I think they're really taking the stance that Rohan was talking about: is games first, make sure it's about the games. I've never been high on Kinect because they've never proved that it's something that we need, and they've always tried to force it on us, especially putting it into the bundle and saying you must have this. And I understand the chicken or the egg thing, like they need to justify to developers it's worth developing for so that everyone has it, but don't do it from a standpoint of like you need to have this because it's absolutely amazing. It's not amazing until you make great games for it.
And they haven't. And they haven't for the hardcore. They haven't really delivered that killer game or that killer app for the hardcore gamer. They haven't done it, so I think this year it is going to take a back seat at the press conference. I will be surprised if it is focused at all during the press conference. I think they're going to deliver hardcore game after hardcore game and hopefully try to blow us away.
There's a bit of a disconnect.
Yeah,
We were all waiting for it.
Okay, I'm sorry. I gotta track these. Okay, that's two. So one thing that I've noticed that Microsoft's done a lot that I could do with less of is all this like feature talk. It made sense when they announced the Xbox One. That was just like, hey, look what you can do with Kinect. Hey, here's how TV works. Everyone really hated the TV stuff. I actually thought that was kind of fascinating. Like as it was happening, looking back after adding everything up for the press conference, probably wasn't super relevant to the core gamer. But even just looking back at the last year's press conference, and like they're doing Rise gameplay or Killer Instinct, it was like, oh, okay, let's actually take you through the process of how this works. Really feels like it slows the whole thing down. Mm-hmm. Do you think it would be good for them to skip stuff like that? And do you think they ever would? Or do you think they have this obligation to like, you got to show Smart Glass, you got to show Kinect, you got to show the functionality of the Xbox One and not just games?
Well, but they did that last year.
They did. I mean, they had two separate events, right? I think the landscape of the way things are being communicated is changing. Look at this year. I mean, we got so many announcements heading into E3 that we already know a lot of stuff. They're saving their time on the stage to really blow us away with stuff that we can look at. And I think that in this shifting landscape, that's the way to do it. Show us about the living room and all this stuff. Maybe, as I've said on some other podcasts and stuff before, maybe almost two separate kind of things. There's no reason why they couldn't do like a live stream, afterwards showing, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is their day to get a bunch of news out and to try to be on the front page of USA Today, whoever has the bigger headline, whatever it is, or GameTrailers.
Yeah, definitely.
So
we're all in the same boat,
Yeah.
Us
So
Microsoft.
Totally. So for me, it comes down to them prioritizing, but I just don't want them, shoving things down people's throat and trying to convince us that it's something that we need. When make it cool first, and then we'll need it. And I understand the entertainment stuff, and they have a big investment in that. But
Crackdown 3.
Oh, I'm waiting. Yeah,
right?
I'm always down for Crackdown.
Maybe
Okay.
that'd be
down
great.
for Crackdown.
This is their chance to really, surprise all of the people, all of the hardcore gamers who are waiting for these big franchises to make a comeback and see those big game reveals. This is their opportunity to do it.
Yeah.
Is this E3?
And you checking our social? Anybody talking about good Xbox stuff? Any good Xbox questions?
Let's see stuff about.
Is it all hate?
People complaining that GAF is going to crash.
GAF is going to crash.
Oh,
What, on Monday?
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
And a lot of people saying they love GT's coverage. So
Okay.
I like to see her stuff.
Okay, so I had a thought. I got
Really?
an idea for Microsoft.
Okay, great.
So I
Shoot.
want to take you back. I remember before E3 started, there were rumors that Killer Instinct was coming back, and I was like, "Oh man, Killer Instinct, that'd be so great. Well, what if we could have that for the show? Like, wow, what a great announcement!" like that just totally fizzled. Like it just the whole attitude about how that was presented at the press conference last year, it just wasn't exciting to me. The idea of it coming back was, but it just like didn't. And they bring these two people out who like one guy's good at the game and one lady isn't. I'm like, there's some joke that is supposed to happen here that I'm not getting. And I think about Nintendo having professional gamers to come in and challenge them each other doing Smash Brothers. And you have a company like EA, which I want to get to later, where they bring in like football stars that are like so uncomfortable. Like, what am I doing on this stage?
Yeah.
What about bringing in professional gamers to demo these games for the first time? So it's like you're not only going to see like some guy. It's like this is either like that one developer or somebody who's going to come in. Just two amazing, like, legendary Killer Instinct players, like, coming in and playing that game.
I mean,
that would have been great.
That would have been great, but I think what you're seeing here is a marriage between a great idea of, like, hey, we're going to put Killer Instinct on stage, we're going to do a match.
Right.
You know, that's a great idea, but then you have the corporate, then you have the, you know, the other side of things, which waters it down and turns it into something that is acceptable in a corporate environment for... They're throwing millions of dollars into this presentation. They want it to be their way. So I think you're seeing this juxtaposition of two different ideas, and that's what you get is this kind of clunky demo that isn't delivered the way we expect it or want it to be. So I would hope to see it, as you say, and maybe we will.
Isn't that where didn't the guy say something really inappropriate during that demo?
Yeah.
Well, if you take it out of context, yeah, it was an uncomfortable couple of minutes.
See, I mean, the chat, I mean, I think they all, you know, you guys all see the same thing. It's, you know, corporate presentations. People still have to...
You just see someone says, but exactly what Rohan is saying. So you're just agreeing with the word exactly what Rohan is saying.
Is that a guy...
Why is your wife in the chat?
Oh, I don't
right
know.
now?
She should be working right now.
Lord knows we are.
No, but that is what E3 is at the end of the day. But hopefully, you know, this year it's all about the games, and these people are going to get it and give us what we want.
Yeah. Well, and you know, I think Microsoft there's more pressure on them. Sony has had better sales. They've had to be in a situation now where they've backed off a little bit. They've said, we're not going to bundle and connect. We're going to bring our price down. We want to convince you that you need this Xbox One. And now the pressure is on them to deliver the software experience that's going to justify the hardware purchase. I think Sony's, we'll probably talk about it more later, but you know, in that war, you know, this is, again, Sony's thing to lose because Microsoft has the ability right now to have to earn people's trust back from a really bad year and then also impress us with games. And the best way they can do that is just not talk about any of that shit and show Halo and show Gears and show some really great third-party stuff that is going to just really blow people away and finish the press conference and people say, well, damn, now I really have to consider getting an Xbox One if those are the types of experiences I'm going to have on that.
And that's a funny thing about their press conference last year was like it wasn't bad. They got in trouble for things they did like way before E3.
Yeah.
So the people were in a bad mood when the press conference started. But like I remember being so stoked when that press conference ended. Like, oh wow, you know the day has begun. Here we go. Like they showed a ton of stuff.
Was it Phantom Pain? Is what they?
Yeah, that's what they kicked off with.
I mean,
that trailer was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it was incredible.
So yeah, there was a lot of exciting things that happened. But so say you're Microsoft.
I'm Microsoft.
Yeah, you are Microsoft. So say we can predict like here's what we think as core gamers. Here's what we would be excited to see. What do you think is like the big lesson that they learned? Like, what's the fear that they would have going into the show? Like, we can't do that last year because that didn't work. It can't be just a policy thing because that's not decided by developers or publishers.
I think you said it earlier. It's about features. Last year was features, and then a couple great game trailers. This year, features take the back seat, and it's games.
It's got to be games. I mean, people know what the Xbox is, and people know what the Xbox does now. They're done introducing it to us. They screwed up in the way that they introduced it. They changed a lot of the feature set. Now we need to get to the core of what being an Xbox owner is all about, and getting them an opportunity to showcase the software and the developers, really put the developers into the spotlight. If I'm Microsoft going in this year's E3, it's, hey, we're here. Let's bring out all the great people who are making amazing games for our platform and have them tell you about their games in a kick-ass way that really makes sense. And just don't even bring up any of the other stuff. Just, everyone knows what your system is. Everyone knows what your system does. Everyone knows what it costs. It's not going to change anymore. They already did the price drop. They already did all this stuff. Bring out people on stage and talk about games.
Which seems intentional, to announce that information ahead of time.
Right.
And be like, we don't want to bother with that stuff. Or we want to get people excited so that they'll see what we have.
One thing I hope they don't do is spend like 5 minutes validating themselves. We've listened to you.
Right.
We've listened. You asked for this and we did this. Because you're just pointing out the bad stuff you did. Just get up on the friggin' stage and show the friggin' games.
So
Friggin'.
the first friggin' game we're going to see, probably I'm maybe predicting cross-gen, so that you can sell the 360, talk about the 360 for like 20 minutes, and then make the full jump. to
Yeah, I mean,
Xbox
they're
One.
still good. They still want to extract as much value as they can
And I think
out
there's
of
a lot
the
of value
360.
to
Yeah.
extract. I think
I
there's
mean,
a lot of
I
awesome
think a lot of
games.
people have still been apprehensive about buying the Xbox One. And
Absolutely.
if they're going to, I mean, they're going to June 9th, whenever
Right.
you can get the $399 without the Kinect.
Right.
So I think that there are still a lot of users that have the Xbox 360. I think
As
there's
their
still life
main
there.
console, yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
totally.
Yeah, I'm still playing Grand Theft Auto Online. Like, we actually made a comment when we were picking the top 10 anticipated games this week of all of the amazing PS2 games that came out after the PS3 had come out. You know, that like we were still technically in this, you know, the generation we just left behind.
Right.
And we got these incredible games for these old consoles because
Yeah.
these developers were so used to them. They had really planned these projects from
Yeah.
far out, you know, and,
Well,
and wanted to see them finished.
And let's be honest, too, and candid about the fact that a console launch in this generation now, the longer we go on, the more unsatisfactory a console launch is, because they're shipping hardware, trying to figure out what's going on, and also the games are shipping while people are trying to figure out what's going on. I mean, back in the day, you bought a piece of hardware, that hardware wasn't going to change. You know, when you bought a Super Nintendo or a
Yeah.
Sega Genesis or a Sony PlayStation, it wasn't going to change because it wasn't connected to, it didn't have a parachute to bail them out when shit went wrong, right?
Right.
So this was what you got day one, and that was what was exciting about it, seeing the future now. And I think that there's so much happening in our industry right now to where the developers and publishers have an opportunity to basically market test a lot of stuff and get it out. And so it takes a year for a platform to get off the ground in a way that is substantial enough to justify a day one purchase, you know. And that's just the truth of where we're at in this day and age of games shipping with, you know, needing updates. And I mean, you go to the store and buy a game now, you have to bring it home, you install it, you update it, you do all this type of stuff, and friggin' 5 hours later, you know, you're playing a game. So.
Right. So, anything else? I'm getting a lot of great IPs here. Someone said, "What the hell is Rare up to?" There's
Making
Braid,
shitty games.
yeah, Braid 2, another Banjo Kazooie, another Conquer, Shenmue 3.
Someone said-
I saw Grabbed by the Ghoulies 2.
Someone said Shadow Complex 2 in there as well. I glanced at, which I would love. I mean, those, you know, Donald Mustard and that whole team over at Chair, the awesome people, great studio. I really hope that they do that at some point. And of course, Don's watching this right now. So announce the game, buddy.
Yeah. No, as stuff like Vanquish 2, you know, like I said, Platinum earlier, I would love to see Vanquish 2. Probably not happening, but
Probably not.
stellar game. Shenmue, probably not happening.
I'm
Shenmue.
putting trailers on the left-hand side as you're talking.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
So as a joke, I put up a Vanquish 2 image with question marks.
Oh, people.
There you go.
Damiani's trolling everyone.
Trolling.
Over there.
Trolling down the river.
But hey, who knows?
Yeah.
Halo Car, Witcher 3.
Jet Set
Yes.
Radio 3.
Battletoads. People have been
Battletoads,
talking about
Microsoft too.
Battletoads
There
for
has been,
years.
there's been
Yeah.
a lot of talk about that, and I think that would be pretty neat, because that game is something that a lot of people hold near and dear, and to see how they would reinvent it would be pretty cool.
Any other new IPs? Anything,
New-
Rohan? Rack your
new-
brains.
Oh,
Rack your
man.
brains. Anything that they could do.
Exclusive to Xbox One?
I don't know how many announcements we're going to get at this E3. How many like really truly unpredictable announcements? It just because last year's E3 seemed to be that, and then now we're finally getting to see Sunset Overdrive being played. We're finally getting to see like
I think it's
Battlefront gameplay. We're finally getting to see
It's
these
more the
games that-
fulfillment of what we've already kind of known.
Doritos Crash Course. Dude.
Hey,
It's more like you were saying, like we know a lot of stuff, so now is the opportunity to fulfill those promises and actually show, some stuff that we should expect. Sunset Overdrive is an interesting game. I'm really excited to see what Insomniac has cooked up with that. You know, their pedigree in the industry and how they're taking advantage of the next gen platforms, and I think really trying to show us what next gen is. You know, fancy
Right.
graphics only go so far. And I really want it, for me personally, I'm really wanting to see how role-playing games are going to evolve in this generation through the capabilities of the hardware. because I'm a big RPG fan, and I know an experience like Mass Effect was one of my favorite franchises. It wasn't possible in the previous generation.
Right.
So, what are we going to experience in this generation that it wasn't possible on the 360 or PS3?
I think we're going to see, they'll probably open the show with Advanced Warfare, available Xbox One, Xbox 360. You get that nice, cross-pollination of both previous gen and current gen. And then you'll probably see existing franchises that we know, Halo, Gears, hopefully Crackdown. But what I want to see, and this is going back to what you said, I want to see that surprise, new IP that comes out of nowhere. That's what Microsoft needs to really drive the Xbox One in 2014.
Any of the fun flip-flops between press conferences? So, like, Metal Gear made a big appearance at Xbox last year. Assassin's Creed made a big appearance at Sony. Could we see, like, Unity at Xbox and MGS5 at Sony? Or
Maybe. I mean, those companies are going hard after those games, right? What was really interesting to me, the most interesting one, was seeing Destiny at Sony's event, right? Because you have this studio that was exclusive to Microsoft now showing up at the other party and showcasing their game. So seeing something like that, there isn't really any of those types of stories that could play out. It'll be really, that Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed would be great to see at Microsoft's press conference with some sort of showing it in next gen for the first time, and that for them is an opportunity to associate a cross-platform game with their platform, obviously. So that would be a big win for Microsoft if they can get the Assassin's Creed camp on board.
Finally, one last question, unless you have anything you want to close this out with as far as Xbox is concerned. We can squabble about this all day. It's probably a very horrible thing to ask Twitch or ask the internet. But a lot of people are saying Metal Gear Solid 5, as long as we're talking about that, demonstrated in a video that Hideo Kojima felt the PS4 had an edge on the Xbox One as far as graphics were concerned. So like you were saying, showing something like Unity for the first time on an Xbox One console at their press event, What do you think that would make a big statement? You think that's something that Microsoft's going to look out for, to be like, what's that game that we could convince to show at our press conference, which would make people think like, wow, that's them putting a lot of faith in the Xbox
I don't think
One.
that would come from a third party. I think that would...
Well, and I think it's a legitimate concern, and some people are wondering, okay, hey, is there any way now that Kinect isn't required to free up CPU and any horsepower that the console has to better benefit the games themselves? All those questions are extremely valid and extremely important, but they're not for this event and they're not for this audience. That's the bottom line in terms of how Microsoft is presenting that. They don't need to validate on stage talking about processing power and all this type of stuff. They need to show some goddamn good-looking games. That's what they need to show.
Some friggin' goddamn good-looking games.
I'm cursing a lot today.
Yeah, way from Colorado.
Well, it's the hair. The hair makes me curse.
So, it is 4:40. We are officially moving on to Electronic Arts.
Okay.
All right.
EA.
We are going to talk about Electronic Arts for 10 minutes, and then we're going to talk about Ubi, but then we're kicking you guys out before we talk about Ubi.
Sure. Actually, you're not. It says I'm on here, so screw you.
Am I
So
leaving?
you're
I'm
kicking-
leaving after that. Oh, thank goodness.
You can stay. It's fine with me.
Thank goodness. You're
Get
bugging
hot.
me, Rohan. So I could spend 10 minutes talking about Star Wars. What do we need to talk about before I spend the rest of the time talking about Star Wars?
Well,
EA. Okay.
obviously Battlefield Hardline, I think, is one. I mean, who knows?
We've already seen the whole damn game.
Yeah, exactly. Talk
So-
about one of the biggest leaks before an E3.
I haven't seen that many leaks since my bachelor party. That was a tweet, and somebody...
And a waterbed. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy how much we've seen of that game already. I mean, there were people streaming it online with their watermark of their gamer tag, popping up on screen. The trailer, I think we saw yesterday. Like, so many leaks. Does that damage their presentation?
No, because it's the first thing we're talking about. Right? So,
Okay.
I mean, to me, I don't know how much of it was intentional or whatnot, but, Hardline going in to EA's press conference is an opportunity for them to reinvent the franchise, but also capitalize on the strength of that brand, Battlefield, and talk about how they're bringing it into another thing. When I look at Hardline, it looks to me like the fulfillment of what I wanted the evolution of a Rainbow Six to be.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's
Interesting,
that's what I'm kind of hoping for. It'll probably be a little more fast-paced. I tend to like tactical shooters and things like that, but it seems to have those types of elements and at least that type of energy, so that's what I'm looking for, and they need to knock it out of the park and make it,
Yeah.
But it already looks really good.
But I mean, it's not Battlefield 5 Hardline. It's
Right.
Battlefield Hardline. So you're not getting this massive jump in technology or presentation. it's pretty much Battlefield 4 Hardline. In my opinion, it looks very similar. They're just, changing a lot of the way that it's structured in terms of the way you play the game. Heists, cops versus robbers, that kind of stuff.
And the other thing, obviously, Mirror's Edge. One weird thing to me, Mirror's Edge 2, I think, is going to be big for them. In terms of the order, I don't know. I think they probably will open with something like Hardline and then come out and say, here's the worst kept secret ever.
Yeah.
They'll talk about it for just a minute. Then they'll go to maybe a Mirror's Edge 2, big, huge game for them in terms of, I think, an opportunity to kind of redefine that first-person fluidity of the movement and parkouring in a way that's, that first game was great, I think, but it was a lot of unfulfilled potential.
And animation, just messing with the whole concept of like you're stuck in this perspective.
Yeah.
And so you're hanging from helicopters. You're like, I was just going back and looking at that announcement from last year, and there's this awesome shot where she wraps her leg around this guy and flips the guy over. I think they do a full revolution before she like slams him on the ground.
Yeah.
It's just fun to see the look on his face of like, what, like, it's just neat to slow moments like that down. So you have to hit like a slow-mo feature or something. And it's very exciting stuff they could do.
Well, here's the expectation. Everyone's going to sit in the seats, watch it on TV, and everyone's waiting to hear the Star Wars music, right? When does that happen?
Yeah.
It's going to be middle, probably, if they're showing stuff, which I would imagine as much of an investment as they're making. But at the same time, the one thing that's getting lost in our conversation too is Dragon Age Inquisition. And that's a big game for them. Like, can they really compete in the RPG sector? What are they going to show? And Dragon Age for me has been really interesting. I didn't mind the second game as much as a lot
I
of
loved
people
it.
did. I
had a blast. Played it twice all the way through.
I thought it was a fun game. I understand the difference between the two things, but I'm interested in how important Dragon Age is to EA. Like, what will tell me a lot is where they position it, how long they talk about it. Because they obviously invested a lot in it.
We need to play it. We really need to play it at this year's E3. I think it's been too long.
Well, absolutely. I mean, it's coming out pretty soon, right?
Yeah.
So I would certainly hope that we can. But I'm excited to see it. It's BioWare's first next gen. I'm kind of a BioWare fanboy, so I would really like to see what they cooked up.
New Mass Effect. People are screaming about it in the comments.
I know it's very highly anticipated, and I also know for me, it's one of those things like I don't want to talk about it because I want to see it so much that I'm just like, do
you think it'll be there?
I think that they've been working on it long enough now and openly speaking about it. It's not like they're saying we're not talking about that. They've said, "Hey, we're working on the next part of the galaxy." They've given us some tidbits of what to expect. I think they've been working on it long enough now that we could expect maybe some sort of mention, whether it's like the briefest of trailers.
Teaser,
Battlefront was
reveal.
super brief.
Yeah.
That was just
to put it on the map. I think that will happen, or I'm hoping it happens.
So Star Wars.
we got to see that. I think they've all but confirmed that we're going to see gameplay of that. And I mean, there's all sorts of crazy things. There's all these new properties that are coming out. We're getting a new television show. We're getting episode 7 next year. We know Amy Hennig's working on something. We know there's going to be Battlefront. We know there might be something else. Just lots to really dip into there. And I think I just think about the place of this E3 next to all of these things launching kind of seems like a natural time to kind of open that up.
Sure.
And going back and looking at footage from all the old Battlefront games, it's all prequels, it's all expanded universe. So it's just kind of this template to just like we just make a map and boom, we're done. Like you have a weird property it'd be crazy if the Rebels animated show, if there was just one mode that was just animated, all the characters look different or something, or like a skin you could put on or something. Just seems like a very malleable franchise.
Yeah.
Because it is so simple. It is,
Yes.
it's you don't have to take it seriously like Battlefield. It's just a fun Star Wars experience.
Less is more here. All they need to do is just show Battlefront.
So the chat's asking what Amy Hennig she's writing not Battlefront, but she's writing a separate,
totally
with
separate,
Visceral, right?
Yeah, Star Wars game that is gobbling up the crew of Uncharted 4.
Yeah.
Which should
is
be
a
very
great-
exciting.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
And especially I mean very exciting for any of those people. Just talking about Star Wars on just like as far as the whole picture is concerned. But I mean like how awesome would that be now that Disney's like, okay, we have this whole new idea that we don't know what that is. We have no idea we've seen what they're doing with Marvel. It's very exciting. So like I don't know what they're going to do with Star Wars. And like she was brought in on some meeting where they're like, it's this, and she's like, I'm all over that. That's all I want to do right now.
Right.
And that's exciting to see somebody make that decision and to see it not like, oh well, Lucas is going to come over and take a crap on it and change something really weird. Like that's not going to happen. It's this whole new team that can just make whatever seemingly make whatever they want, and so that's really exciting.
What's interesting though is experiment with Star Wars, the Knights of the Republic, for the MMO, and kind of how that's faded, and it's not lit up the world of MMOs. I don't know if it says more about the state of MMOs or if it says more about kind of how to handle Star Wars with specific fans. For me, the more straightforward and deliver on the experience that people are expecting. When we're talking about Battlefront, give us the last Battlefield, like you said, and just put it in the Star Wars universe, and with really cool weapons and vehicles, and that's it. Like, don't overcomplicate it. We don't need any of the other stuff. So I'd be interested to see if there is something within that they're going to tap one of the studios to kind of address the shortcomings of the MMO and maybe deliver a single-player RPG, something very interesting for us to look at. Because a lot of people love Knights of the Old Republic, and really kind of just wanted that. And instead we get this big sprawling MMO that I think was a little bit too ambitious for its own good.
I remember the last like Star Wars game we got was like the Phantom Menace for the PlayStation was terrible, and we got like the Episode 3 game, which was like okay. Yeah. And I just think like they've had such a long lead at actually making like some kind of film that's directly tied in with Episode 7 and makes sense, and like I don't know, I just think that would be really fun, and all it would take was just like Abrams to walk on the stage and be like, "Hi, we're doing it, bye," and walk out, and like and people go nuts. So like you were saying, they can make big announcements with just a little bit of energy. 1313
was so damn impressive.
Yeah. It's sad.
That was sad.
Really sad to see that go.
It is sad to see that go.
That's it? That's all you got on that? You're just going to break my heart? Well, that's the end of our Star Wars conversation.
But that is a great example of what an E3 success story, right? Somebody gets up on stage and it's like the 1313 logo pops up and then rearranges and shifts into something else, Final Fantasy 15 style, that's a great E3 moment, which you never know can still happen.
Totally.
Also, lots of EA Sports.
Yes,
sports.
Andrew Wilson.
Hopefully better sports stuff this year because...
Sports? How do you say sports?
EA Sports.
I love sports.
It is 1 year past. It's just a really tough position for them to be in. It's like this new generation's coming. We only have so much time with this new console to like figure out what we're going to update. That's why none of the modes really ever go over in a lot of these games. But so 1 year later, more exciting stuff.
It is. They definitely will have this in their press conference. It is the most digestible, consumable, smallest takeaway that they can have is showing amazing graphics in NHL 15 or Madden. That's the screenshot that they're looking for, right? And it's always been a part of the conversation. People hate on the sports games all the time, but they play a big role in determining the hardware's mainstream success, but also the capabilities. Everyone still goes back to that Madden render, from years ago with Donovan McNabb and everything like that. And then the actual games, came pretty close. Yeah. So what are we going to see this year? And they keep talking about this engine, Ignite, that I think they're talking about how to change it. The thing is, in the world of sports, the subtleties that improve the gameplay, like AI or the nuances of a player going this way instead of that way, and it affects the momentum and speed and inertia. Those are very hard to make sexy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? On stage. So they tend to go the route of just, hey, let's bring out Jerry Rice and that's the headline.
Just no athletes with teleprompters, man. That's just the worst every time. I just like
how about
such
an
easy way to check out.
Let's get up there and read it for them.
Totally.
Let's do it. And now the voice of GameTrailers.com.
So who are we bringing in? Just you, or who are you? And Rob? Who are we kicking out? The two of us? All right, we're both leaving.
You're leaving.
Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I'm coming back later to... I don't know if I'll be on screen with you again.
Well...
and that's all I want to do on Monday, when it's just like, I want to get on screen with that guy. It's
just run
so
out
good.
there. I don't give
but yeah, I'll be back. Thank you, Rohan, for checking in,
Thanks,
bringing
guys.
in Megan Rue.
All right, take
and
care.
Rob Slesser
See ya.
to talk about other stuff. Here's your breakdown.
Hey, Meg.
Hey.
Hey, Rob.
Hey. Gee, I wonder what we're going to talk about, DK.
We are going to talk about let's see, we're going to talk about the Nokia N-Gage. I hear it's making a comeback.
It is making a comeback. Yeah, I saw that.
The taco phone. So we want your questions. Obviously, you guys know Rob Slesser and Megan Rue here from Game Trailers. We're talking nonstop about N-Gage, the return of the N-Gage. You didn't know that?
No, I knew that, but the N-Gage isn't coming back. The Gizmondo.
The Gizmondo.
The Gizmondo.
Yeah, we're going to get you in the Mundo for the Mondo, is how I like to say. Get your Giz on. That sounds really bad. But anyway, so we are going to talk about Ubisoft. If you have questions specifically about Ubisoft, put them in the chat, and it's going pretty fast, but I'll do my best to be able to read. Now, let's start with you, Miss Megan, because the obvious question here, being the fangirl of Assassin's Creed that you are.
Yep.
Do they open their press conference with it? And how much of it do we see? Do we see gameplay? Are we seeing kind of, target renders? What do we see?
I think I don't know if they're going to open up with it. I think it's just going to be smack in the middle. It's their go-to. It's their annual release at this point. I don't think they need to, lead with it. I also don't think they're going to end with it. I think there are better titles that they can tell us more about. I mean, Unity is sort of that, or Assassin's Creed as a whole is sort of that franchise where we kind of know what we're in for at this point. They're going to shock us, sure. They're going to show us new graphics that are going to put the new consoles to the test, but I don't think, I don't think it's going to be the strongest thing Ubisoft is going to have to offer this year. I think they're going to have better things. Now, granted, Ubisoft as a whole, as this brand that they have, they are the best at second screen by far, in my opinion, across the board, across EA, Microsoft. So they nail it, and I think that's going to be the big thing we see this year in their press conferences. Almost every single game they're going to tell us about is going to have something second screen
sexy screen. They're going to have
it's a sexy second screen relation. Like, yeah. I think, if we talk about The Division, talk about The Crew, who knows what else they're going to bring up. Like, Unity, I mean, Black Flag had a second screen that you didn't think you wanted. Yeah. And then you played with it and you're like, this is genius. Like, I love this. So
they've really done a good job in recent years kind of establishing IPs and I mean, there's a lot of stuff they haven't done, right? And if anybody follows me, they know, the Uplay stuff and a lot of the things that they've really screwed up. But in terms of what they need to do at E3, they've done a lot of things right. Mm-hmm. I mean, Rob, what do you think about the success of Watch Dogs? Here we are a few years ago. A game, no one knew what we were watching. The thing comes on the screen, we're like, what the hell is this? I don't recognize any of the characters, the setting, trying to piece things together, and then they just unveil a new IP, comes out, crushes sales records, kicks butt, even though it was delayed numerous times. Is it going to be hard for Ubisoft to replicate something so major?
It's going to be hard for them, but they've got a lot of stuff lined up that looks really cool. So, they're going to talk about Watch Dogs at the press conference.
The success of it, DLC
the success of it, and they're going to announce DLC. Mm-hmm. That's my little prediction right there. Okay. It's the right time for DLC.
Exclusively for a platform? First on a platform? This Ubisoft, did you see that chart of, like, here's Watch Dogs and how you could buy it? I mean, it was like you had to have a degree to understand if I buy it at Best Buy and I pre-order it and I get the Uplay season pass, then I get a trench coat or I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's I don't know how they're going to arrange it. I don't know what they're going to announce, but I mean it's the right time for Watch Dogs DLC. Mm-hmm. Getting back to your question, Watch Dogs they did a great job with it. On every level, it's tough to sell people something new at this point. We all say, and I say this over and over again, I want to see something new. Yeah. Later on, when you're talking about Assassin's Creed again, because I know you're going to get back to it, I'm going to say, I love Assassin's Creed, but I've already played that game. I want something new.
No, and you're not. I agree with you. Mm-hmm. I'm at the same point with Assassin's Creed, and I'm like the biggest fan. I'm like, okay, now what? And that's why I'm always bringing it back to second screen. Like they're just the ones that do things that. I mean, Battlefield does it very well, but like
there's a lot of Assassin's fatigue right now.
But the reason why they keep giving us the same stuff over and over is because that's what people want.
Yeah.
And so it's
what they buy.
Yeah,
not
that's what they buy. Okay.
What they want.
So it's real tough to introduce something that's at all different. Yeah. And when you look at Watch Dogs for the first time, it was something different. You're like, wait a minute, I'm hacking stuff. How come I'm just not shooting everybody I see? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so that's a tough sell. Yeah. For a video game with a budget that big. Yeah. Because a game like that can't fail. Yeah. And so they had a lot of challenges and did great with it.
Yes.
Well, and now let's talk about shooting all the time. Let's talk about The Division.
Yeah.
What do you think they're going to bring to the table at Ubisoft this year that would excite you guys to go, this is not just another Battlefield, Call of Duty, Advanced Warfare? Like, what is it, other than just co-op, obviously, what you showed us last year for Division, like, what is it about Division that's going to make you want to play that versus any of the other shooters we see this year?
For me, what I'm excited about is, for a long time...
She was asking me, by the way.
Oh.
I'm just joking.
Everybody likes
teasing.
you.
I'm teasing.
Everybody likes you, so I have to jump in.
We only get him like this time of year. We only get him like once for
Which
E3.
is why petting is involved.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The thing about any shooter is that after playing them for a while, you realize that what you have to do to win is to work together.
Yes.
Right? And a really good shooter does that. And so I want to see how they not force people to work together, but allow people to work together and give them the tools to work together.
Yeah.
And so that they can win. There are a lot of games where they encourage you to work together, but nobody does. They just run around on their own shooting people or doing whatever. And I want to see a game that really gives you the tools and makes it possible for a bunch of people to work together to complete objectives.
And I think with the Division recently being delayed, there's a lot of kind of justification now for, hey, this is coming in 2015. We wanted more time. Give us faith, reinstill faith in this thing, because they announced it, and this is a bigger topic about release dates and understanding why they even announce stuff just to get pre-order money probably. But at the same time, it's a case where I feel like they have to almost validate again. They put themselves in a bad position because now they have to validate that they had us sold. Like there's a lot of people ready to pick this game up. Now it's delayed. Got to resell them again. Quickly, I do want to say in terms of the Assassin's Fatigue and kind of going with what's safe, we have to give a little credit where credit's due in games like Child of Light.
Yes.
And whatnot, Ubisoft.
Absolutely.
And do you expect anything like that? Some surprises? Because I know when that was shown, there's this trend now at these press conferences to show something beautiful, whether it's a game like Below or Child of Light or what's the one that I'm forgetting?
Well, I mean, I can't think of any
Ryan.
other. Yeah. But
Beautiful.
I think last year we saw a lot of independent games at E3. I think this is the year that people are actually going to pay attention.
Yeah.
Because I think, in previous years, all the way up to this point, a lot of independent games were just like, oh, it's an indie game, whatever. And then it came out and people played it, were like, wow, this is actually good. So I think this is a year where independent games are going to be on the main stage the same way they were, but now people are going to be listening. People are going to be paying attention. People are going to go to their booth and play their games. And I think Ubisoft and Child of Light and all that's a big reason for that.
Yeah.
Ubisoft, they put out a list of games that are going to be at their press conference. And then they said, oh, we also have another game that's going to be at our booth. Valiant Hearts, and it's a 2D World War I game that seems to put a lot of emphasis on story and characters. And I, obviously not played it or anything like that, but the trailer for it is just amazing. Mm-hmm. And so I think that has the potential to be a really big surprise for them.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be in their press conference, supposedly.
Yes. Well,
they've only got so much time. And
yeah.
But it will be at their booth, so
Yes.
hopefully everybody online will be able to see trailers and stuff for it.
Dr. Bloodworth is in the house, and he will be soon joined by Mr. Kyle Bossman and Mike Huber, unless this schedule has changed, to talk all things Sony press conference. We're waiting for 2/3 of that party to show up, so you might want to send them a friend's invite or something like that. But basically, as we're getting ready to close, here's one of the big things that a lot of people... well, somebody said something about Epic Battle Cry. Thank you. Blah, 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 blah.
Tupac.
So
Tupac.
Tupac. Sorry, I can't read.
And there's
I've been
Russian.
hiding it this
I
entire
can't translate
time.
Russian.
Two things, okay? Two things, real fast. Far Cry seems very formulaic this year. Like, they announced it, and the friggin' game's going to be here in November.
Right.
So, I believe it's November. So, are you expecting to see a ton of that? I expect to see, like, a set-piece moment. They're going to sell us on it. It's going to be lots of snow, some elephants, and someone's going to die. That's all I can say. Snow, elephants, and death. That's Far Cry. What do you think?
Well, I thought with Far Cry 3, I mean, yeah, we've got a new setting, we've got a whole new story, and there's a lot of controversy about, the character, races of the characters and all that. I don't think any of that stuff matters. With Far Cry, it's all
Because you're
about
a
the
racist,
gameplay.
that's why it doesn't matter.
Don't tell anybody.
Just joking.
The chat already called you out before you even said that. It's fine.
For Far Cry, it's all about the gameplay.
Yeah.
And so hopefully they'll show us something that lets us know what the gameplay is. Not necessarily gameplay, but maybe a trailer that hints at what gameplay we're going to see. And so that's good enough for me.
Okay. And did you have anything to add to that?
No.
All right. Will we see anything from Beyond Good and Evil franchise? Oh, exact same response. exact same response.
I think if we're gonna see anything, it's not gonna be during. I think we're gonna see it first, probably with Microsoft,
Okay.
and then we may get maybe an elaboration on that. But I don't think Ubisoft's gonna be the one that
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so. In this day and age, it's tough to announce anything perfectly secretly, and there have been no rumors, it's been off everyone's radar. I don't think that they have anything ready for it.
Yeah.
If they do announce a new game, I have a feeling it'll probably be a sequel, for one of their franchises. Rainbow Six Patriots, even though it's been in development hell forever, if that game is ever going to come out, now's the time to to show us something about that. Splinter Cell 7, apparently they're working on it, so we might see something off that. There's a rumor about a new 2D Prince of Persia game, and so
that would be cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so
I was like, nice.
I really like Prince of Persia, and I didn't mind that. I
didn't mind the reboot either.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was pretty cool.
But I think if they're going to announce something totally new, it's probably going to be from one of their franchises.
Hey, calm it down, Hubert. We're on a live stream
I
over
think
here.
they're ready.
What do you guys do? All right, so we've talked about Microsoft, we've talked about EA, we've talked about Ubisoft. We're going to hand it over to the gang over here who's going to be discussing Sony. So we're going to hop on our segues and get out of here. So thanks for watching the chat. There's lots more to come, and obviously watch our coverage next week as well. I'll see you guys on Spike TV and Game Trailers on Monday, and we have a lot of great stuff coming up. So guys, you want to take it over and talk all things Sony?
Yeah.
Cool.
Let's go.
There you go. Jump on the hype train, everyone.
Hype train
Mr.
coming.
Blood, good to see you. There you go, Kyle, the boss man.
Yeah.
How you doing, buddy?
Sorry for the squeak.
Yeah.
Our
Stop
little
being so sweet.
awkward
dude.
transition. Hello.
Huber, I'm actually going to take this seat.
Go for it.
You get the
Hello,
middle one.
Bossman.
Shotgun.
Hello, everybody!
Hello, hype!
Hello, Project Beast.
Sony hype!
I did not come as prepared as Rob did. He had a whole list. You got notes too.
I got
got
nothing.
this.
I have nothing.
Whoa, Blood's got a
You
whole
guys,
list of...
you guys got coffee. That's what the delay was, apparently.
Yeah, we gotta caffeinate. Yeah. Happy Friday, everybody! Thanks for tuning in for just a whole 3 hours of E3 hype. This is fun.
So yes,
What do you wanna talk about?
Sony, we've got good stuff coming up. I mean, they're gonna blow out sales numbers talk.
Do you think so?
They're gonna spend 5 minutes at least, maybe 10, just talking
like
about
total?
how great the
Yeah.
PS4 is right now.
Sure.
Where does Vita tie into this? Because the Amazon leaked the Vita
the
PS4
French-
bundle.
French bundle, yeah.
They will definitely bundle the Vita with
The Vita has now become a PS4 controller. So
Yeah, that's honestly the best chance of selling a Vita now is just like attach it to the PS4, a
Yeah.
successful product.
It's funny, before I bought a Vita, I was like, oh, I'm just going to wait for the Vita PS4 bundle. Mm-hmm. But the PS4 came out first, there was no bundle, and I was like, whatever.
And now it's here.
yeah. I also think, that's going to be their kind of transition to PlayStation Now. They'll show what's been going on in the beta. They'll talk about that.
I bet at least 10 minutes of PlayStation Now.
There's going to be a lot of
It's gonna
PlayStation Now
suck.
talk.
Yeah.
Because in a way, that's sort of like a whole future revenue stream for them.
Yeah.
So like, if they can get people excited about PlayStation Now, then they can count on that actually being part of their future plan, and especially if they show like a really awesome PS3 game running on it very well.
With PS Plus, will they be like, yo, right now, after the stream or after the press conference, go download these PS Plus games, like big hitters?
You
think they'll do that?
That's totally possible. Same with PlayStation Now. It's totally possible if they're going to say PlayStation Now will be coming soon, now.
Yeah,
Right?
It could be.
Right now.
I mean,
I think
because
it's
that's the
starting in the
last
summer.
press conference,
PlayStation.
Yeah.
so they could
right
have that
now.
going.
Yeah.
Also, they're probably going to spend time on Morpheus for sure. It seems like Morpheus is going to have a presence at E3.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I don't know how you show that off on stage, but that'll be interesting.
No, it's going to look so dumb on stage. But yeah, there'll be somebody who I feel like comes and talks about it first, and just like with Project Morpheus, we're trying to take you to the next level of games. What we've created is a whole new experience. Like, it's going to be that whole thing, I think, like a whole setup.
Yeah.
Because you can't show a video that explains what Morpheus is.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be kind of weird.
Yeah.
Especially if they actually have somebody on the stage demoing it, and then some kind of video out with the weird bifocal screen or whatever you want to call it.
All right, so all the boring stuff out of the way. Sales,
Yeah.
Vita, Morpheus, PlayStation Now.
Games.
That's all out of the way, and then games from there out.
I think so. I think they have a lot of potential for things. I mean, obviously Drive Club is going to be back. They're already
Sure.
teasing that. I think I heard that Destiny might be on Sony stage.
That's very likely. I think it's a safe
I think
bet.
it's very likely. I mean,
Yeah,
actually,
yeah.
the rumor that's gone around is that, Bungie originally only wanted Destiny to be on Sony platforms, but, Activision is a business,
I don't believe that rumor for a second. Why would Bungie say that?
Because they had a bad deal with Microsoft. They got bitter with Microsoft.
Yeah, it was
They were that bitter with Microsoft that they
Confrontation.
said we don't want to make our games for their consoles anymore?
That's just a rumor.
That's a
But it's-
ridiculous rumor.
But anyways.
Okay.
Is this the time for Dragon Quest? Bring it back, Sony exclusive, Daniel Bloodworth. Will Dragon Quest be said at the PlayStation conference?
That's an interesting one. I don't
May I?
think it will be
No.
announced at E3.
No way, Huber. That's a
I think that's a
insane.
TGS announcement.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Why would
And
they-
you know CUNY was big?
The other
There's
weird
hope.
thing.
But
There's
Dragon
hope.
Quest has never been big. Maybe 9. 9 would be great. But
Yeah.
just 10 didn't even release here. I think there's no way that they'll announce that as a game.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
Siphon
I
filter.
I
That's such a
do
good
think
one.
that there, like, people have said, there is a slight chance of Last Guardian making some kind of appearance.
Not happening.
Huber, they're trolling you so hard. Here's my
I know,
favorite.
I know.
Dragon Quest is a mobile game.
Oh god,
That's such a troll.
that's so bad.
Don't even talk to me about Dragon Quest 8 on a mobile.
Just don't even.
Garbage.
No, I think now that PS4 is out there, I think Last Guardian could make a reappearance. But I think that they, whenever it does show up, whether it's this year or not, like I think they will wait until it's actually coming soon.
I get what you're saying.
I don't think that they're gonna hey, here it is again, and then wait 3 more years.
Yeah. No, it's happening this year.
So the order will definitely be there.
Yeah.
I think that Uncharted will be there in a very big way.
Yeah, because you think that game is coming out in October.
Yeah.
It's
I
not.
think it's gonna.
There's no way.
I think it's gonna have a playable demo. I think that's that they're gonna have something big to announce for this fall.
Dragon Quest 8.
You're right, because the order is out.
HD.
Yeah, the order is next year.
Because the order is out, all they have now announced for this fall is Drive Club, and that is it. So there must be something more.
Yeah.
Bossman, you proposed that Resident Evil 7 would be a Xbox exclusive. What
Yeah.
do you think the chances are for a PlayStation exclusive?
I don't think PlayStation wants it.
Nick is trying to slide in here.
Nick, what do you got to say? What's
Nick,
up?
what do you got to say about Sony?
Sony for life. Rock out.
So everyone, this is Nick
Oh, I'm
Plessis.
coming back
Come
in.
on.
Really funny thing about Nick Plessis is his
Really
Xbox username.
Oh my god. It's old. It's old. It's an old new username. For
His
the record.
username is PS3 is better on
Wow.
Xbox.
Okay.
So he walks into every little Xbox lobby and he's just like, PS3 is better. Just that's
No.
his first impression of this guy.
Gotta filter out them haters.
Oh man.
You are the hater.
No, I totally am. Absolutely.
But yeah, I don't know about Resident Evil, but I do think Capcom, their booth presence is like really scarce.
We'll talk about Capcom later.
Yeah, but what I'm
That's
just
later on
saying
the
is like
list.
I think that they will be on Sony's stage in some form or another. They were there.
Oh, okay.
They were there last year with Deep Down. So I think
Nick, I thought you died.
Nick is
Intern just died.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, I think either Deep Down will make another appearance in hopefully a better form than it was.
Oh,
last
great
fall.
point. Deep Down has to show up for sure.
And then I think they might tease something else. Like
You're
tied
forgetting
into
something?
that.
What are we forgetting?
Project Beast.
Oh yeah, dude. That's honestly probably the last thing they show. Is
Do
probably
you
Beast.
think full reveal, full demo, name, PS4 exclusive?
I think
all
we'll
that jazz?
see that trailer in like a legitimate form.
Yeah, and I think honestly, I think it's gonna be the last thing. I think
Do you
it's gonna be
think?
the last thing
Do you
they
think
show.
it'll be someone will play it on stage?
I don't think so. Have they ever done any kind of Dark Souls or Demon Souls playable on stage?
No, but
But it's never been this.
it's
big.
escalating. It's
Yeah.
escalating. It's building
Yeah.
hype.
Yeah.
It'll be the biggest. Yeah.
I have a hard time believing that like a game like that's not a game that you'd want somebody to put on God mode, and it's not like good for an E3 conference to be so easily defeated.
You know what? That's a fair point.
You were really hard to do. You're right.
No, you're right. Dark
I didn't even
Souls
think
shows
of that.
better in trailers than it does as an actual demo for sure.
What else? God of War? Any thoughts?
Nope.
Any
No
kind of
chance.
tease? Any
No
God of
chance
War
of God of
3
War.
Kratos face
What
style?
if they pull a Zelda situation and just show like a piece of art for God of War?
I think that Sony Santa Monica, like all the people they let go.
Yeah.
I think
the
they're.
Purge.
I think they're likely working on 1 or 2 games, and I think those games aren't God of War games. is my opinion. I think you have no chance at God of War. I don't think anyone cares. I don't think anyone will be bummed if there's no God of War at E3.
Yeah, because 3 ended with like that weird cliffhanger.
Getting, like, dragged away.
But it's been a long time.
And then Ascension was
a long time since 3. And they continue putting out these collections so that it sort of stays
and Ascension
floating in
is
the,
only
in the
like a
public
year or two old.
Yeah, but Ascension was a little weird and different. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe not. I do think that it's possible that Quantic Dream could show up. I do think it's possible that... I think it's actually very likely that Kojima could be on Sony's stage this year.
Sure.
And, yeah, just kind of... He got his time in with Microsoft last year. This year he'll get his time in with Sony. And
I like Lock Block. Star Fox X Ratchet.
That would actually be an okay crossover.
I like it.
My favorite's Soma Elite, who says new Parappa game.
Oh,
yes!
That would be great.
Yes!
Where's Sony Santa Monica?
Actually,
they are that way.
You know what? We're talking about huge games. I think legitimately there will be, as like last time,
a lot of indies.
A lot of indies. Maybe like 12 minutes, a good 12-minute chunk of like looking at indie games. And yeah, I think we'll see a lot of smaller games that look weird and fun. And I think that'll be a cool part to look forward to in their press
What is
conference.
the number one game you guys would like to see announced or unannounced?
Announced or unannounced?
Anything you want.
So I'm huge on Parappa the Rapper. I'm scared a new game wouldn't be good. Because Parappa the Rapper 2 sucks. I'll say it. That game blows. And so does, like, what is that game? Like, little marching game on Wii?
Oh, Major Minors Majestic
Major
March.
Minors Majestic March sucks. So, it makes me scared that a new Parappa game would be good.
You gotta believe.
I gotta believe. Thank you, Blood. You're right.
How about you, Bud? What do you want?
I want The Witcher's demo to be on Sony's stage.
You absolutely should.
Yeah.
Also,
that is great. Yeah, I would love to see that game running on PS4.
It looks so good. Crash hype in the comments. I'm totally on board for. If there's a Crash game for PlayStation 4, Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, people talk about that every once in a while, like Sony trying to get the rights back or whatever. And I think it's been a long time since Activision's put out a Crash game, so there could be some credibility to that.
A Crash Knack crossover.
No, Huber, no.
Oh my gosh.
It'd be so bad. I honestly think Knack's dead. I don't know if he'll ever come back. How sad is that?
Oh man.
Poor Knack.
What if there was an Act 2 announced?
So do you think actually? I think it's worth discussing. If you think Sony is going to have a third-party exclusive that they paid for, a game that wasn't previously exclusive that now is exclusive.
Resident Evil 7.
Like something like that. Do you think that could happen?
I think if anything, it could be Resident Evil.
Why?
Just because, that's where the franchise was born. It was born on PlayStation.
Or Devil May Cry.
Okay.
Or Devil May Cry.
Oh, a new Devil May Cry with old Dante?
You would hope, but I don't know if I have that much faith in Capcom.
The new Dante.
Yeah.
The
and
newer one.
The trailer begins with him stabbing new Dante. And then he just puts his sword back in and he says, well, that takes care of that. Then he eats pizza and goes on an awesome adventure.
I don't want to get into a Dante debate. I don't see what all the hate is.
Okay,
all right. That was just a witch hunt. People just hating on
I think it's more likely now, just because Sony has that momentum right now, that we could see a third-party exclusive. And I think Capcom's a good fit because they did the third-party exclusive with Microsoft for Dead Rising 3.
Yeah.
So
it's just Sony typically doesn't buy third-party exclusives.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be interesting to see them go for it.
Yeah.
Or as he said, it's probably not going to be E3, but Dragon Quest is never multi-platform. So
give me it.
That
give
mobile
me
game?
it.
I guess
the last real Dragon Quest was so long ago.
It's going to be a 3DS
I don't count
game.
9. I don't count 10.
Next
Sorry,
Dragon Quest.
9 was good.
I know you're good 9, but 8 was the real deal.
You'll never have that
and
again.
it was so long ago.
You're never going to get that again.
Just give me that huge epic JRPG
so
on
I don't know
PlayStation.
How on schedule we are right now.
Yeah, 3 minutes.
3 minutes, okay.
I put my my exclusive Sony third-party game.
What is
So
that?
he's got Metal Gear Rising in the corner.
Gosh. That game could get a sequel. Because it actually did pretty well, didn't it?
Yes, it did do well. Metal Gear Rising did do well.
Because of Damiani, he
and Platinum Games
championed the game.
Platinum Games always needs money. They are not like somebody that can like pick and choose too often. So as long as they like something,
I don't get it. Platinum Games seems to do well.
I mean, yeah, I think they're doing okay, but I mean, like, I feel like a lot of their games have not done that well. Like if you look at
Wonderful 101,
Wonderful 101, Vanquish. Bayonetta didn't really do that well, I don't think.
Well
Bayonetta
enough.
2 is getting funded by Nintendo.
Anarchy Reigns?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah, dude.
So, I mean, yeah, Rising is probably one of their most successful games.
It absolutely is, yes.
You know what's really comforting is every time I look up, I see the word Shenmue. It's just making me happy. Suzuki and Cerny come out on stage. Here we go. PS4 exclusive Shenmue 3.
Hubert, what does a Shenmue game look like in 2014?
Like a souped up Yakuza.
Okay.
Just souped up.
What is it about? What are you doing? Like, what makes
You're
you so excited about
continuing the
this game?
story.
What is that?
Where it was left off. Shenmue 2. You're in the forest with a sword and a door.
Honestly, if they actually went to the trouble of bringing back Shenmue, I would hope that whatever this next game is would just be the game that closes out that initial vision for the story.
Absolutely,
Let's
you're
just
right.
finish it, please. Just finish it.
Yeah.
If you want to do a sequel,
Find your dad.
something else later, that's fine. But let's finish that story now.
Oh, Dad, there you are. Yeah, just like that, right? That would work.
What if they, the biggest thing that they could do, and the first step in that, I think, would be to do a HD release of the first two. Whether it be on PS3, PS4.
I don't know.
It's such a huge
That's the
investment
first
in
logical
any
step.
case. I don't know.
Do you think that'd be really expensive to do? Put
Honestly,
1 and 2 HD?
I don't think it'd be real expensive. I just don't think it would do well, honestly. I don't think an HD collection of Shenmue 1 and 2 would do well.
You could test the waters. You never know.
That's my least favorite way to test the waters.
Test the waters.
That's
Just
not
do
how you
it.
test the
People
waters.
want it.
Because then if it
Ben
doesn't...
Moore wants it.
I want it.
He wants it.
Because the thing is,
He doesn't even know what it is.
if you use HD remakes to test the waters and it doesn't do well, it's not like, hey, we didn't want to replay those old games. It's like, hey, we do want a sequel. It makes me so mad. I don't like that.
You know what? Okay, so you know what was brought up in there
What?
that we didn't talk about? In the chat, they mentioned Persona 5.
Sure.
I think Persona 5 could be on the Sony stage. I
Yeah, that'd be great,
I think that's a real
Ben Moore
thing.
just-
Yeah.
That's a
Lit
real
up.
possibility. So,
Oh, we gotta save that for third parties.
Third parties.
But no, we're talking about Sony's press conference. Yeah. Ben will be able to talk more about the game itself. Yeah. Actually, are we moving on to? We're moving on to Nintendo next.
Yep.
Sure.
It's that time.
So final thoughts on PlayStation press conference.
I think that they're gonna
They're
do
gonna kill
everything they can to blow it out of the water.
Okay.
They're in a
Defending
bunch
champs.
of movie theaters for some reason.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, I think that they're gonna have some, PlayStation Now, Morpheus, big games that we don't see coming that are coming out soon, and who knows?
I'm actually getting
Maybe
really nervous
something
with the
other
movie
crazy
theaters.
thing.
What are you getting nervous about?
I'm getting nervous. The Last Guardian IMAX trailer could happen. That's what I'm thinking right now.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Blow everyone away.
So, okay, we'll be missing out. Okay, so definitely looking forward to that. Bye, everybody, and we're now transitioning into Nintendo World.
Special transition coming up.
We've got a special transition.
Special transitions are gonna.
We're trading one youngin for another.
Here it comes. Special transition.
What's
Yeah,
happening?
Go in.
Go.
Get in here.
Go.
Get in
Go.
here.
Go.
Come on, Ben.
Go.
What is all this stuff?
Don't worry about it.
He's
Not
got
yet.
props. Ben's
It's coming.
got props.
It's coming. It's coming.
Okay.
Later.
Wait. Oh yeah.
What are you putting up there? Is this Sonic Boom or what?
Don't worry. Don't worry.
That's my glory.
Oh yeah!
Oh,
Are you playing the music too?
Greatest gift of this year.
Very well.
There's video of this year.
man, this chat is going too fast for me.
It is now, it's time to hype Nintendo now.
Yeah.
Yeah!
I'm so hyped for Nintendo this year.
I think I'm the most hyped for Nintendo out of the three.
Out of the whole, then everything. Out of the E3. Or
No,
what?
just out of the big three. Just out of the big three.
So you're more hyped for Ubisoft.
Let's say Big Five.
Sure, big five. Yeah, out,
Okay.
of the big press conferences. Out of the
Yeah,
press
yeah.
conferences, I am most excited
Okay.
for whatever Nintendo shows off. I know they're not having a press conference, but they're doing a direct. They're showing off some new games.
Yes.
How many unannounced games does Nintendo have?
8.
8.
They have 8
Wow.
unannounced games.
Nice.
Including Mario Maker.
Including Mario
And
Maker. Buying into that.
you hate Mario Maker. You are raging at Mario Maker.
So we should explain Mario Maker
Yes.
in case anyone
Yes.
isn't up on that dumb rumor, which seems so true.
It's definitely true.
There's a shot from the inside of what appears to be
Mario
E3
Maker?
with a big banner that says
What is
Mario
he even
Maker
got doing
that
that?
shows
You want Mario Maker?
that shows somebody using a little stylus to create his or her own little Mario level.
Yeah.
What do you think? Like,
Successor to Mario Paint, but then with interactivity.
that's not Mario Paint. Mario Paint was never making your own dumb levels
Right.
with.
What offends you so much about making Mario levels? I want to see the crazy stuff that people come up with.
I absolutely don't. I'm not interested in any Mario level anyone has to make.
Okay, here's the problem, Kyle.
Okay.
Every time that somebody comes out with one of these games, whether it's like the little Wario thing, or whether it's Little Big Planet, or whether it's Project Spark,
Yeah.
what's the first thing somebody does? They make a Mario level.
Yeah.
It's all over the place. It's like people have been asking Nintendo to do this whole time. And whether any of us want it or not, like, it's coming.
Have you ever watched the videos where with the weird Mario hacks where they're so impossible and they're just trolling?
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
there's all the invisible blocks and the impossible jumps.
I've seen
I
those.
love that stuff. That could be this game, and I think that's
oh
really
my gosh,
funny.
no, so anti-hype on that. That to me is a waste of time and resources. It makes
don't
me so
understand.
frustrated.
But it is, admittedly, something that would make sense to have a gamepad for. It's
Yeah.
not something you would, that's not going to work as well with Analog Sticks. I mean, you could do it in Little Big Planet, but a stylus works better.
No, if I could have a stylus in Little Big Planet, I would love it.
Yeah.
It's a good little level of customization. to it.
Especially if they give you a lot of freedom to like do texture
Mario
work and
is-
stuff like that.
It's so
Mario
constrained.
controls so much better than
Mario
Little Big
controls
Planet.
way better.
Way
but-
better.
Yeah.
I don't know, everybody.
Okay, we talked about Mario Maker.
Yeah.
There are 7 other games.
Yes.
What are they going to be?
Unannounced?
Pokken Fighters. Yes.
What?
Pokemon fighting game. For sure. Gonna be at E3. And it's gonna be so cool.
What kind of fighting game would it be like?
It's
Brawl?
it's gonna be a 2D fighting game. It's not gonna be like Brawl. There's gonna be very simple controls, I imagine. So imagine like Tekken with only 3 buttons is how I imagine this game going to be.
And is this just coming from your brain?
This is purely
All right,
what I'm
great.
imagining.
Okay.
100% accurate.
Yeah. And it's gonna be so good. And it's gonna be only fighting type Pokemon. Machamp's gonna be in there. Machoke's
Only
gonna be
fighting types. Okay.
Yeah. Blaziken.
Because nothing else would make sense.
Lucario confirmed.
You don't want Goldie? I mean, come on.
I want Magikarp. Splash.
Oh man, it's gonna be so good. That will be
man.
announced.
Okay, so there are
Yeah.
two games that people have wanted from Nintendo for a long time now, ever since they announced the Wii U.
Okay, what 2 games?
F-Zero, Star Fox. Will we see either one?
Yes.
You did not name either.
Just the franchises. Will
Either
they
of
return
those-
in some
you-
form?
Wave Race, dude.
Wave Race. You
You
want a Wave
see
Race?
Mario Kart?
I like that.
You know how good Wave Race is gonna look? Wave
That would
Race
look cool.
64
I-
still looks like some
I
of
have
the best waves out there.
I have a confession to make.
What?
I've played pretty much every Nintendo franchise except Wave Race. I have
You need to
never
play the
played
N64
any
Wave
Race
Race
game
right
ever.
now.
Is that the best one?
I mean, Blue Storm is great too, but I mean, just for like when you look at like what they were doing on the N64, it's pretty ridiculous.
Okay.
And plus like Wave Race Blue Storm, I mean, it's prettier, but in some ways it's almost like an HD remaster type thing, where it's like,
Gotcha.
There's a lot of similarities to that in the original game.
Would you want a Wave Race over F-Zero?
I mean, they're pretty neck and neck.
Right,
I mean, I think the thing to me is that F-Zero GX was like a more, there's not much more they could do to top that.
Sure, that makes
Whereas
sense. to me.
Wave Race is like, no, you've never seen Wave Race like on that level, so.
You know what? I like the weird world around F-Zero GX.
Oh yeah, it's
Wave
crazy.
Race to me doesn't have that. If Wave Race had a cool little funny comic book story, I'm on board. Otherwise, you're just doing boring stuff in water.
No, dude, it feels
Yeah.
so good.
And they're just generic.
And you have like the crazy shortcuts where you have to like dive under something, and yeah,
Oh, those are cool. Those are
and,
really,
and,
really
and
cool.
then
I
the
love
ones where
underwater
the
shortcuts.
tide goes out while you're racing around the track. Oh man.
So let's talk. I mean, we did a lot of like dreams of this, but let's
Yeah.
talk like realistically about what Nintendo is going to do with this opportunity.
Realistically,
Toys.
I
They're
think
putting out a bunch of toys.
We do know that for
We're
sure.
gonna spend 20 minutes hearing about toys.
That's like a huge initiative for them. They're going to spend a lot of time on their NFC technology.
and it's going to be involved with Smash Brothers.
Yep,
Maybe.
most likely.
Most likely, but also a whole new game.
I
for
think
the
that
NFCs.
there will be a standalone game. I don't know like how they're going to end up distributing that. Like I wonder if like maybe it will be something where like you buy the toy and you have like a download code for your Wii U. Like I'm just trying to think about like what they could do that would be different,
Wait, what is the download code for?
Well, like, rather than, like, buying, like, this huge box full of stuff, like, you actually would just buy a toy and the download code for the game. For, like if there's a standalone game that's just for toys.
they could put that in the NFC. You know what I mean? You could just blop that onto your
Yeah,
thing
that
and then
too.
you have that
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is, like, rather than having this giant box with, like, 5 toys in it, like, he's like, just pick up any toy and then you have the game already.
Yeah, baby, yeah. No, I mean, that's how it would work. But, like, we were talking, like, I hate the idea of this little thing works across all these other games and they don't even know how. I kind of think like they're working with that plan first and then making games around it.
Can I ask
think
for,
it's a bad philosophy.
when you're saying this one thing, it just works in multiple games, that
Yes.
you don't like that? Can you explain that a little bit more?
So, what they did a couple of months ago with their financial report is they showed a little Mario toy that works in 3 different Mario games.
Oh.
And they said, this is how this will work. I think they made that plan before they made the plan for the games themselves.
Sure.
And I think that's bad game design. That's going to lead to games that are made around monetization first.
Right.
Which is mobile games, which is what I don't like about mobile games, is monetization first, then game.
Absolutely.
And it's sad to see Nintendo go that direction, if that's the case.
So, hypothetically, if you could make a dream game with these NFC figurines,
Yeah.
what would it be like? What would it resemble?
That's a really good question. I mean, Disney Infinity.
Oh.
I think I want
I
it a little more
had...
structured.
Okay.
Sure,
actually.
alright.
Like, I appreciate the toy box in Disney Infinity. I think
Yeah.
it's done really, really well.
Yeah.
But I want to be able to play really well-designed Nintendo levels with just 100 different characters from all over the place.
Alright.
You know, like,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
if I could do a Mario-style platformer that controlled that well with, like, a NES figurine? That'd
Yeah.
be really cool.
No, that'd be great.
So, well, you know how, like, they're talking about them sort of, like, you know, gaining storage data and then, like, combining and, like, have, like, kind of like an experience, like, building up within the figurine. What if they tie it into, like, a Paper Mario game?
No!
This is violent. This is violent. Kyle coming out. I'm glad I didn't get too
So,
close.
hold on,
I would've
what's
been
your idea?
slapped.
What's the idea?
But I'm just saying, like, you know, Skylanders kind of, you know,
Yeah.
stores experience and stuff
Uh-huh.
like that. You know, so in Paper Mario or Mario and Luigi, they haven't had a Wii U version yet.
Yeah.
So that would kind of make sense to me to, like, yeah, to be able to have party members and stuff that swap out based on whatever toys you have.
No, because, like, what RPG have you ever played where suddenly just another character appears because you bought it in a store? You know what I mean? You don't bring Gino to life. You just, I went to Toys R Us, I bought Gino, and now he's in my game.
Yeah.
That infuriates me. I never want that to happen. Oh my
Something
gosh.
to that effect, unfortunately,
is going to happen.
Going to happen.
Yeah. Oh man, you're making me unhyped for Nintendo.
But we're going to see
I know.
X.
We're going to see
We're pretty
X.
much have to see X.
We're going to see X.
It's supposed to be out this year. They
Yes.
haven't said it's delayed yet.
Yep.
If X is playable, that is the number one thing I want to play at E3.
So what would you do first? You're walking into an X demo. What are you doing first?
I want to walk around and see how much of the world I can see. Like, I
Yeah.
hope it's like a big open field. I want to just run to a bunch of different corners and see what things they have hidden away.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Because I've already seen the gameplay video, I know what combat in that game is going to be like.
Right.
So I want to get a sense of the world.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Me too, dude. Just get in a robot and fly.
Yes! Oh
Yeah.
my god! And then transforming into a car. It
Yeah.
looks great. It looks
Yeah,
really
well,
great.
I mean, that's the thing that I look back at Xenoblade, and I don't get it. Like, the vistas in that game should not be possible on the Wii.
Yeah.
it's ridiculous
Yeah,
how
yeah.
far you can see and how detailed that world is. And they've just managed to pull it off to where, like, whatever level of detail loading that they're doing, it's fairly seamless. It's really, really well done.
So you think that team on Wii U will just be able to do
Yeah,
it?
man.
Cool.
It'd just be craziness.
This is with Xenoblade, it's not with X, but it would always bother me when people would say, it looks good for a Wii game. No, it just looks good.
That was a good
like,
looking game.
Sure, it's
Yeah,
in
yeah,
standard
yeah.
definition, but that game looks really good, I think.
Absolutely. Okay, so, I mean, now we've had X, now you have to have the downside. Hyrule Warriors.
That's not the
That's
downside.
not downside.
I'm
I agree.
so hyped
You're
for
as
Hyrule
hyped for
Warriors.
Hyrule Warriors?
I'm genuinely hyped for Hyrule Warriors.
Wow. What are you most looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to, like, it's like dumb story. And like just like it's gonna be a dumb game, and I'm like embracing that fact. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I think it's just gonna be like fun playing as all these different characters mowing through moblins.
The worst thing that game could do would be to take itself too seriously.
Yeah, I
Like,
totally agree with that.
I don't want to spend minutes listening to two characters talk about anything.
Yeah,
I
good
want to
point,
get
yeah.
in there and kill hundreds of moblins. That's
Absolutely.
what I want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. The dumber the better. I think.
The one thing is really I'm worried about is the repetitive vocals. Every as soon as somebody finishes doing a move and shouting out some random quote, then you do it again and they do it again, and it's like this constant stream of I don't even know what they would yell out for Hyrule Warriors, but man, it's gonna happen.
A really fun thing about Hyrule Warriors is the roster is apparently huge and weird. Weird is weird, the fun word. What's your ideal playable character in Hyrule Warriors? Rudo. Awesome.
I really want to play as Tingle. Maybe that's a bad answer.
It's not a bad answer, dude. He'd be so because
you'd be floating around, dropping bombs on dude.
But can you imagine having Tingle have a 100-kill combo? Tingle just murdering fools.
Yeah,
that image is hilarious.
That game is unstoppable.
Fatal Frame. There's a good call. That'd be nice if that shows up.
Windfish.
I have a question. Maybe it'll be dumb when I say it, but is every playable if it's going to have this huge roster, is every playable character going to have a voice besides Link? Is Link just going to grunt and stuff, or how is that going to work?
Man, I don't know. I feel like there will be very little spoken dialogue.
Okay.
I think they're going all out or nothing, basically.
Okay.
I think that if there are people talking, Link will be talking.
That's scary.
How cool would it be if Link talks in Hyrule Warriors?
Tecmo Koei is responsible for Link's first speech.
You're right. Probably never. Yeah.
What else? What else can we think about? Oh well, we kind of talked about Mario Maker, but I mean, can anyone fathom what other games would prove the value of the gamepad? Like that weird thing that they're saying they're going to demonstrate at E3.
Okay, so when I think back on Metroid Prime, if if Retro were to announce another Metroid Prime game, I think you could do a ton of really, really, really cool things.
Yeah. They always did so cool stuff with the Wii Remote, actually. I see it a lot in the comments, and it's sort of a funny joke, but Pokemon Snap U would be a Wii U
that'd be
proof
great.
of concept.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Any game where you're actively doing this kind of thing, other people are saying it already. Team Groose. Groose would be such a good playable character.
Yes.
Anyway, but back to saving Wii U. I think that kind of game would totally prove that.
I actually considering the cool things that they kind of showed off at the beginning with the panorama view and stuff.
Yeah.
I think Pokemon Snap would be one of the better ways of doing that. Whereas Metroid, I don't know. Maybe if every once in a blue moon you pulled out the scan visor and did this thing.
No,
but I would not want to do that.
Yeah, you got a boss fight and you just pause it. Yeah, that'd be so cool.
I still think Pokemon Snap is the better answer though, because Blood was saying, it's something you would do once in a while. You wouldn't want to have to rely on the motion to aim and shoot and all that stuff. Yeah. Pokemon Snap, you would use it for the entire game and it would be awesome.
Yes, it would.
Yeah.
Yes, it would. We didn't talk about 3DS yet. Not one mention of 3DS games, and I think
aren't
there's
they supposed to have some secret 3DS game
on Wednesday? Yeah, we're having a whole roundtable about an unannounced 3DS game. I think there's gonna be some legit 3DS stuff happening.
The thing that would get me the most excited, and it's probably not gonna happen. It's definitely not gonna happen.
Okay.
Right now I'm ready for a successor to Link Between Worlds.
Whoa, already?
Yeah, even if it was just Link Between Worlds 2 and
that
it was just more of it. I know it's not gonna happen. I know it's not gonna happen, but in my heart of hearts, that's what I really want.
So I'd like to see that philosophy applied to other games. I'd like to see a Metroid Link Between Worlds. You know what I mean? Let's take that game, let's do a remake essentially, but apply new philosophies to it.
A 2D Metroid would have me way more excited than
It'd be really nice
Prime,
if they had a 2D Metroid.
Yeah, totally. Great answer.
Like an F-Zero on 3DS, I'd be more excited about than an F-Zero on Wii U for some reason.
Oh, no way.
No, I disagree.
Not after seeing Mario Kart, but I kind of...
Oh, yeah, dude, Mario Kart looks
part of me, part of me with Mario Kart, I don't know... the way those tracks are designed, it's almost as if they're well, we can't make an F-Zero, so let's just go all out in Mario Kart. Or if it's hey, why don't you start playing around with this stuff in Mario Kart so that we can get ready for the next F-Zero? I don't know which of those answers is the appropriate one.
Shin Megami Tensei versus Fire Emblem. Is that going to be there?
Yes.
I think so, yes.
Yeah, I think it could be there.
But it's not going to be there in an incredibly meaningful way. I think they'll show a very short trailer.
And then on the show floor somewhere.
Yeah, they announced it 2 years ago. I think it's totally time for that to reappear.
No, it was a year ago. It was last year.
It was last January. So, I think it's time, finally.
Yeah. Phoenix Wright versus Layton has not shown up yet, has it?
It's been announced for US, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, it's been in the works for a long time. Yeah. It'd be nice to actually see that game.
Sure.
Everyone's saying this, and I feel like we have to acknowledge it.
Okay.
I would really be excited for a Majora's Mask remake. I don't know
me
where
too.
that
Me
game
too.
is
I'd be
from.
so pumped.
So
Damian,
Damian,
you
it's
wish that
just
was
He
real.
was
That's
ready
just
for
such a
that.
troll.
So ready for that.
It's not real.
Majora's Mask, where does it rank for you among the Zeldas? How do you feel about it?
I've never in my life played Majora's Mask. I watched my friend play a ton of it. I love that game. I love that there's one town that changes and everybody has a story.
Everybody
and
has a
path
story.
Yeah.
that they follow every single day. They're all human beings.
Yeah, no, that's the best thing that they've done in that, and more Zelda games should have followed along with that.
Wind Waker does a little bit.
I will say that the thing that drags Majora's Mask down for me is just the whole, looping time mechanic, especially at the beginning. Like, I feel like whenever I try to go back and replay that game, getting through the first couple of rounds is so hard for me to get back in. And then once I'm out and able to start exploring the world more, then it works out. But yeah, just those first opening, 4 or 5 hours, it's a little bit difficult to get into. But I would love for them to, have more interesting characters and side quests and all of that in a new Zelda game.
That's like my favorite stuff. Link's Awakening is one of my favorite Zelda games because of all the weird characters.
Yes.
And I love characters in a Zelda game. I think they're super important to it.
Link's Awakening might have the best story of any Zelda. One thing that I wish they could do, if they're just going to keep remaking Zelda games, I would just give me one new dungeon in each one. Like
That's fun.
that
That's
would
a
be
total fun idea. Yeah.
You could totally make that happen.
We didn't talk about Smash Bros yet.
No, not at all.
Or Zelda.
Or Zelda.
Or
Well,
Zelda.
we've been talking about Zelda.
We just talked
I
about
think we
Zelda.
kind of got some of our ideas out there.
Smash Bros is going to be huge at E3 this year.
Absolutely. That tournament is going to be awesome.
And what's going to happen is they're going to say a release date for the 3DS one, and it'll be real and tangible, and there will be hype for the 3DS game even.
Yeah.
I'm super pumped for how Smash does. Link's Awakening DX. Damiani, is that
I didn't
you?
write that.
Okay.
That's probably
It's coming
Ryan.
from inside the building. I love that bonus dungeon. It was great, and you actually got a sweet bonus item that was like double defense or double.
The
that was
bonus
awesome.
dungeon boss was my favorite boss in that game.
Yeah.
Um,
Whoever is playing Stevens is wrong.
This is the first year where we're going to get to play Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
at E3.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You know what was bad was last year they played it on stage in front of us.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they just shuffled it away. Like,
Yeah.
thanks.
Just one one-on-one match, and then
Yep.
you're right, then it was gone. Whereas Captain Falcon is going to be the star of E3.
You know who was in the stream the other night? Mike Hook.
Mike Hook's back?
He was back the other night.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah, we need some Falcon Punch.
Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely.
Who are you going to main in Smash Bros. U?
We Fit Trainer.
All right. Why we Fit Trainer?
I love the idea of playing as a character other people don't like.
Nice.
So if you're other
My
people are
male,
just like,
male or female?
why is she in the game? Female.
Okay.
It's like, why is she in the game? I'm just going to destroy
You're gonna
you
beat their
with
ass.
that character.
Yes.
Yes.
Great answer.
Yeah.
No, I'd definitely like to give Mega Man for a world.
Oh, good point. Yeah,
So
Mega Man
many
is a really
different
good character.
things
Yep.
to try to work out and work with. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Much like the Luigi Death Stare, I want to play the Animal Crossing Villager.
Yes, awesome
Because when
choice.
that guy
Yep.
kills you, he's gonna have the best troll face.
Yeah.
And I think that's
Somebody mentioned Grid Ninja. Do you think that's is that cool or is that just dumb, Kyle?
What?
Having Grid Ninja in there.
Great.
You like that?
Yes. The Great Ninja, I think, is a choice around like looking at that character and saying, oh, we can make a cool fighting game character out of this Pokemon. You know what I mean? It's not business first and then game. That was like game first, which I really like a lot.
So, Greninja is the most logical choice in a fighting game, but
Yeah.
here's what bothers me.
Okay.
I did not pick that guy for my starting Pokemon. Okay? I don't have any attachment to him. I want my guy in there.
Yeah,
I want the
right.
guy I picked, the one that I said was
Who
the
did
best.
you pick? I'm curious.
The green guy, I don't remember his name. And I feel embarrassed.
Oh, you want your guy in there.
Chespin.
Chespin is
Yeah!
yes,
Got
yes,
it.
yes.
Okay.
Who would be a chestnut, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I feel like there's snuff in me. Like, I picked the wrong one. I don't know.
You did pick the wrong one.
Okay,
that's,
thanks.
that's true.
Thanks.
So Michael Huber's coming on in.
For glory.
For what? Then that means I get out, right?
Actually.
What are we doing?
Yeah, so we're
yep.
going to talk about third parties.
Third parties.
Yes, Kyle's leaving.
All right, everybody, I'll be back later, but Huber is stepping in.
Goodbye, sir.
Hype.
Yeah,
Place
yeah.
your bets.
Hang on.
Man. we kind of talked a lot about these guys because who might show up on press conferences, but I'll let Ben Moore start talking about Persona. What do you want? What do you want from Persona 5?
What I want from Persona 5, if they were to show anything, and I kind of said this in my 30 days of E3 video, is I don't want them to just be like, okay, here are the people you're going to be having social links with. Here's kind of the story. I want to know what's the hook for Persona 5.
Yeah.
How is it different from Persona 3 and Persona 4? That's what I want. How are you going to really push it forward?
Yeah.
I also think I want to see the whole main cast.
Yeah.
I think. Unless they're like saving some things for surprises.
Does it bother you at all that it's on PS3 and not PS4?
No, absolutely not.
Good.
Absolutely not.
Love that
Because
answer.
for two reasons. One is logic, and one is it just doesn't matter. Like Persona 4 came out in 2008 on the PS2.
Yeah.
It was one of the best games that year because it's not. I don't like. It would look a little bit better on the PS4, but like RPG combat, does that necessarily require all of that power? And you know, Atlas is very, very smart. They don't have these huge expectations like Tomb Raider or Hitman where they're like, we need to sell 6 million units.
Yeah.
They know their audience is not the biggest audience, even though it's grown a lot over the years.
Yeah.
And they're putting it on a platform where most of those fans have access to it.
Yeah.
And I think that's smart.
I agree.
Nice.
Okay.
Persona Q also came up. What can you tell us about that? What is
I
that?
feel like
A lot of people want Persona on PS4. No Persona 5 on PS4 equals no buy from Spogaf.
what do you want Persona 5 on PS4?
No, it doesn't. You hit the nail on the head. It
Okay.
does not matter at all.
Do you want Persona 5 on PS4? Or maybe you
I
don't
mean,
care?
I honestly haven't even opened my copy of Persona 5.
Okay, Chad, I'm interested.
I've had that game for I don't know how many years, and I have not dug into it.
Well, it's really long. I'm interested if the chat can say why they want Persona 5
It's like when God of
on
War
PS4.
2 came out on PS2, you know, and it was...
And that game
one of
looked
the
really
greatest
good.
games on PS2.
Yeah, people were trolling. They were saying it looked better than some PS3 games.
Yeah.
But Persona Q, I feel like not very many people are interested in this, but it's using the Etrian Odyssey engine, and so it's a Persona game that features Persona 3 characters and Persona 4 characters, but it's a dungeon crawler. And I love dungeon crawlers.
Yeah, you do.
Because what's awesome about dungeon crawlers is they don't get too wrapped up in the story. Persona Q is going to have more story than Etrian Odyssey usually does, but you just are exploring and you're venturing into the unknown and you're mapping out things and you're grinding. I don't mind grinding though. I realize that that's a huge turnoff for some people, but I like that slow sense of progression.
Yeah.
So.
Nice.
Other third-party games. I've talked about
our third-party
Persona.
games. Okay, here's one that I don't think we've talked about a whole lot here, but has the freaking giant banner. Is Evolve.
Evolve.
I keep
Yes. I keep forgetting about this game.
I know, but it looks great.
Okay. The other day they came out. I have not seen anything on this game for so long, and the other day, for whatever reason, I clicked on a video of additional classes and how they played. And I was like, this game is coming along. It looks so good. I had no idea. I thought it was going to be more like Left 4 Dead where there's just 4 people. There's like numerous combinations of classes. I had no idea. There's like 7 or 8 or 9 playable characters to really mix it up. So I'm getting pretty hyped on it. When I watched that video, I was just like, whoa.
I was listening to the Giant Bombcast, and Jeff Gerstmann saw Evolve, and what he said that really excited me is if the human team coordinates perfectly, the monster doesn't stand a chance. Like, he will just get destroyed.
Yeah.
But if they don't have that perfect coordination, the monster can just rip people apart bit by bit.
So awesome.
And that really excites me. I know a lot of games come out there and they talk about, like, you'll need to play with your team, but I feel like very few really instill that.
Yeah.
So if I can get that sense, even more so than in Left 4 Dead, I think that'll be really cool.
And there's the wild card, the computer-controlled monsters.
Yes, totally.
That are in there, so it's like a 3-way battle. Who knows if there's going to be, like, computer-controlled mercenaries, too. So you start throwing that in. 4 ways. There's monsters. There's humans. There's computer-controlled humans. There's the big monster. It's just chaos.
You know what I want to see at E3? A new type of monster. Something completely different than just like this big hulking menace.
Yeah. Have they confirmed that at all? Isn't there like a smaller one, or?
I haven't heard for sure. I mean, I've heard people talking about whether there could be other monsters, but I don't know off the top of my head whether there is more than one.
From what I understand, they've heavily hinted that there are going to be other
Right.
types of monsters, but they haven't confirmed that
Yeah.
yet, as far as I know.
It was really cool in the dev diary too. They were saying the healer is like the biggest threat to the monster. So the monster always wants to target him. So that's really cool when you're playing as the monster or playing as the healer. Because when you're that healer, you're like, oh, he wants me. He's coming for me. Because I want to be healing everyone, reviving everyone.
Right.
And then when you're just stalking at the monster as the monster, you're just like, I'm going to get that guy, that healer.
I also like how you're never safe. Like the monster, he levels up and he gets skill points. And you don't just like pause the game and get to like pick that up. You have to go off and you hibernate. And while you're hibernating, you can
And are you
your skill
vulnerable?
points. You're vulnerable.
Yeah,
they can just
so
come and mess
cool.
you up.
So good.
And I think that's really cool.
So this probably would have been good to bring up at Sony's, but somebody that could
I know
be-
what you're gonna say.
Yeah. So Rockstar.
Night Shakes.
What's that? Night Shakes?
Night Shakes. Red Dead.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know if it'll be Red Dead, but I think Rockstar, even though they are not going to have any kind of real presence at E3, there will be some kind of agent-style Sony announcement.
Agent style?
You think there's still chance for the agent to be
I
resurrected?
don't think the agent is real at this point.
Okay.
I think
Will
that
The
is
Last
a long
Guardian
dead project.
be released before Agent?
But I think that Rockstar will have something that will show up on somebody's stage.
A lot of people are saying
likely Sony's.
GTA for PS4 and Xbox One. Is that going to happen?
That could be
GTA
it.
5.
GTA 5, yeah.
GTA 5.
I think that could be it.
If
I
that
think
was
Red Dead
their
is a
big
possibility.
reveal, like I really like GTA 5, but if that
I'd be
was
kinda
like
let
it,
down.
yeah, I'd be a little let down.
What about Bully 2? Back to school.
You know what? I feel like
College years.
Bully is the best Rockstar game that no one talks about.
Yeah.
And what a cool idea.
Mm-hmm. Brandon Jones streamed it the other day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
a
a
few
good
weeks
stream.
back.
It was a good stream.
What's up?
Dragon's
Yeah,
Dogma.
that man right there.
Yeah.
Dragon's
Dogma. Oh my god, that game is so good. That
I
game is
don't-
very-
I don't
want to see
know.
more for that
Deep
so bad.
down.
Yeah, we talked about Deep Down earlier.
Justin Spear lore coming at you. Justin Spear.
Hashtag Justin Spear.
Hashtag Justin Spear. Quote: Dragon's Dogma 2 would make me buy a next gen console. So that is like that guy's number one desired game.
I think it is an incredible accomplishment in any game when you have combat, like melee and range combat and magic and all that stuff that's been done a zillion times, that doesn't feel like anything else.
Yeah.
When you climb on a griffin and you just hit its wings and cripple it, it's awesome.
Okay, but speaking of climbing on griffins,
wow, I want to see where you're going with
The
this.
Witcher 3 yesterday. We got to see the new trailer.
The Witcher. Everyone, go watch the new Witcher 3 trailer right now.
Or right after
It's
this.
incredible.
Right after this. It might be the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life.
It's the best E3 trailer I have seen so far by far.
By far.
So good. So many nice little reveals.
Oh,
Getting the voice acting in there and because there's so many people, they announced that Charles Dance was going to be in the game.
Mhm.
But there's so many people that didn't know that.
Right, I heard it and I was like, is that Tywin Lannister?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yep.
Yeah. And then all kinds of stuff tying back into the books. We saw Yennefer in there, we saw Ciri in there, who's the female Witcher. And so there's, and then people keep bringing up stuff, I've been seeing people really pointing out new things and conjecturing, it's like, oh, well, it's like, they've said Geralt's story will end with Witcher 3, but what if it picks up with Ciri and continues the series after that? There's a lot of interesting potential.
Mhm.
I'm still, I keep hoping for them to actually show off a good gameplay demo, because so much of what makes that game great, and not just a great RPG, but a great open world game, hasn't been shown off to the world yet, in terms of just
monster hunting.
Well, yeah, the monsters reacting to the environment and interacting with the villages and all of these threads that intertwine, so that it's you make a decision in a village, about something that seems unrelated, and it actually invites monsters to come in and pillage it, or you kill a monster and it unwittingly kills a villager, because it's tied, it's feeding off of their soul or something crazy like that.
Jeez.
And then there's all this extra emphasis,
God.
all this extra emphasis on tracking monsters and finding the clues and following crows and that kind of thing to find where that monster's hiding and lure it out. So much great, cool gameplay. Well, they haven't even shown in a real form. It's just always this like 1, 2, 3
Yeah.
cut, 1, 2, 3 cut, and you just see glimpses.
Yeah.
You know, and they showed horseback riding. They showed fighting on horseback. They showed that you can swim underwater. And there's crazy stuff underwater that's probably going to eat you. I mean, that game is going to be incredible.
Yeah. I think they've done it right though, by not revealing too much.
Right.
Just get everyone's mind
I mean,
twisting with
in
possibilities.
that trailer, they only gave you glimpses of things, but
Yeah.
all of those things looked
Added up.
amazing.
Yeah. Oh my god.
So that game is coming out February 2015. Is it going to be playable this year at the show?
I don't think it'll be playable on the show floor.
But behind
I
closed
don't
doors?
know if it will be playable behind closed doors.
Possibility.
It could be.
Okay.
I mean, they played it in front of us last year, so it's been a whole year. So it's hard to say
Someone wanted a mention of Valve. We have not mentioned Valve
because Valve doesn't show up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, they could be
I
on.
don't know what to
They
say.
could be on somebody's
Yeah.
stage,
Honestly.
like we said about Rockstar.
Mhm.
But Valve and Rockstar are both like, we'll do things when we
Because
want to do them.
Blizzard came to Sony.
Give us a lot of money.
last
We'll,
year,
we'll
which was
let you put a
pretty
slide on stage. Okay.
I mean, yeah, it was only Diablo 3 for PS3, but
Well, Gabe walked out for Portal 2,
Mhm.
and then as he said, they had the Diablo and
People
PS3
just-
and PS4.
People just want us to say Half-Life 3.
Yeah.
So I feel
Half-Life
like
3!
Half-Life 3! You have to say
Confirmed.
Half-Life 3. Confirmed. Going to be there.
Do you think Call of Duty will change people's minds this year? Do you think that the future setting is going to be enough to get people interested again?
I have nothing against Call of Duty, but I just think
Ben gave it a bad score last
I
year.
just yeah.
I give it
I just
7,
think
bad
it's a
score.
little too much, and I think even if that game is phenomenal and a fantastic entry in the franchise, I just think it's fatigued. I think even if it's good, people
So
are just so
Are you
burnt out.
saying that the thing it needs the most is a break?
Is a break.
I can get behind that. I can get
Like,
behind that. I
Yeah,
can get behind that.
just take a year off. Is
Yeah.
that so hard?
But it is hard when you're a publicly traded company and you're bringing in lots of money every
yeah,
year.
it's a business. they're
You'd
making
have to have a
money.
huge drop off to justify. Hey guys,
I mean,
Yeah.
it's not coming out this year.
I feel like people in chat are making a good point. As long as that game makes the money that it does, it's
Exactly.
not going to get a break. So,
Exactly.
as much as we may want it,
Yeah.
I do feel like there's an elephant in the room. Something that honestly crushed me when I read about it this morning. Square Enix. Square Enix.
Oh.
And this is the time to talk about it because last year, in my opinion, that Final Fantasy 15 trailer
and the
and the
Kingdom
Kingdom
Hearts 3 reveal.
No, I'm not trying to
Yeah.
shortchange Kingdom Hearts 3.
were the two highlights.
Yeah, absolutely. And people were in tears
Yeah,
because of that
tears.
stuff.
We were
And
screaming.
they have the balls to come out and
Yeah.
say, it's no.
Yeah.
How can you do that?
Do you
How
think
can
because TGS has been a bust for the last 5 to 10 years that they're like just
Maybe
gonna
not quite
hold
that long.
off and try to make TGS
No,
what
they're
it once
not gonna
was?
try to cater to TGS
Like-
more. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like they shouldn't have shown those games last year. If they're not gonna be able to show them again this year.
Yeah,
I mean, it's been too long already. It's like I mean, that's why I was saying that with the Last Guardian. It's like don't bring the Last Guardian back just to put it back in hiding, and that's exactly what Square's doing with Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah.
It's like, hey everyone, check it out. It's actually in the works. Here's what it looks like now.
Yeah.
See you in 4 years. What?
Versus 13 was announced at E3 2006.
Oh,
Look
Tomb
at
Raider.
what has come
Tomb Raider
out.
2. That's what Square
In
Enix
that
has.
time.
I'm
It's probably Tomb Raider
I'm-
2, right?
I'm banking on that. That thing is gonna be there.
6.
Because
else to say.
You had Uncharted 1, Uncharted 2, Uncharted 3, The Last of Us in that time period.
Yeah.
You can't even get one Final Fantasy.
The
out?
entire Assassin's Creed
Come
series has been created
God.
within that time frame.
Come on.
oh man, but yeah,
Tomb Raider 2, sorry.
Tomb Raider 2 is happening. I'm almost sure of it.
I like
'Cause they-
Jaja in 91.
Because
though.
when they were talking about the
Bluffing.
definitive edition and like the new character model for Lara and everything, it was all in the context of this is kind of a peek at what we're doing with Tomb Raider 2.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Square Enix has got to bring something, and it will probably be that.
Bring
And what's that?
Just Cause 3.
Just Cause 3.
Just Cause
Just Cause 3, Brandon Jones.
That's a very interesting rumor, and I think it might have a little bit
so
of legs.
hyped.
But I'm not 100% sold on it.
Yeah.
What else?
Deus Ex is Ikizel 916. Mankind Divided. They showed that concept art
Did they?
from a while back.
Right.
Hmm. It was one image
Right. You're all
that they
right.
showed a while ago. And
But they just got done with Thief, right? I mean,
yeah, they
might be able to have something,
a
but
lot
it's
of
a
their
little early.
team, I think, moved over to help finish that, and then they probably went back. So Deus Ex is a great possibility. I would love to see a new one.
Something that I've just noticed this entire time.
Okay.
We've been talking for a while about third-party stuff. We have only talked about sequels.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're at that point where we need to see the new next-gen franchises.
Yeah.
Bring it.
What's going to take us into the future?
Well, he's got Evil Within.
Evil Within.
Okay, Mike talking about
Yeah,
Evil Within.
Let's talk about Evil Within a little bit.
We talked about Evolve.
Oh, did you?
It wasn't all sequels.
Yeah, we talked about Evolve.
Oh, we did talk about Evolve. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm sorry. You're totally right. I was
Evil Within is
predominantly sequels.
my most anticipated. That and obviously Phantom Pain, but for new IPs, Evil Within.
You know-
Mikami himself back to survival horror. What do you guys think?
I'm worried that it's either going to feel... This is a weird thing to say. I'm worried that it's going to feel too much like Resident Evil or
Yeah.
not enough like
Yeah.
Resident Evil. Does that make sense to you?
Mm-hmm.
Like, everything I've seen about it, I haven't been scared, and I'm just like, yeah, this looks like a kind of worse version of RE4. And I
Yeah.
realize that's super harsh,
Yeah.
but how do you feel about it? Why are you excited?
Because it's Mikami and because it's
Sure,
survival horror.
sure.
I
That's a
mean,
good reason. That's a good
it's
answer.
like why I get excited for a Tarantino movie. You know, you're just like, oh, it's Tarantino.
You trust in
like,
him so
I
much.
trust him.
Absolutely.
Well, I feel
All of his games.
I feel like it also, and I don't know who else he has working with him, but I feel like it also has a little bit of the Silent Hill vibe going on in it too.
It reminds me
There's
of
some
Silent
really
Hill.
crazy
Even Last of
looking
Us.
creature designs,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and eerie stuff.
Yeah.
I just want to mention, very briefly, something that I'm incredibly excited for, brand new.
Yeah.
No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky. That demo
The one
was so ridiculous.
The one diamond
Yeah.
in the rough.
Yeah.
VGX.
Yeah.
No Man's Sky.
There are like, I don't know the exact number. There's like 8 people working on that game or something insane like that.
Yeah, well, it's procedurally generated, so it can be
Jeez.
gigantic without having to somebody, you know, tailor everything.
Yeah.
I have to give a game credit when it's not being like, okay, this is all the stuff you'll kill.
Yeah.
These are all the things you'll drive. These are
Yeah.
all of the things the weapons that you'll use. It's just like, no, we are going to give you as many places as we possibly can to explore.
Yeah.
And that's what they announced their game
Yeah.
with. I think that's awesome.
Yeah. There is some space combat though.
That's okay.
Onimusha!
Okay, there can be some.
Propheta 666. I wish. I
would be
wish.
great.
Well,
my
that would
friend.
require Capcom.
What's our time budget like,
Am I
Mike
out?
Damiani?
Oh, you're good. You can have a little bit more time because I don't think the trivia is good.
A little bit more time. Here's a weird one.
Mike.
I don't know whether to like this game or not. I kind
We've been
of
talking about.
like some of the things that they're doing, but I'm not really a fan of
Who?
their story. And it's Middle Earth, Shadow of Mordor.
No,
Sure.
Earth, dude, it looks so good. It looks so good.
I don't know, man.
Was it you that was saying that what you want out of this generation is not necessarily like new, better graphics? You want more involved AI, more complicated AI.
Yeah, better AI, and the only graphic thing I really care about nowadays is lighting. That's like the only thing where I'm like, oh, next gen lighting. Other than that, I do not care about graphics. Like, let's get the AI smarter. Number one thing. I'm so sick of we were just talking about Thief.
Mhm.
It's like, you know, crouching right next to a guy. He walks by you. He's like a foot in front of you. Oh, I don't see him. Like,
And that's what's
What
so
is
exciting
that?
about Shadows of Mordor. You know, you kill an orc commander.
Yeah.
That changes your entire game.
Yeah.
Everything you're doing from that point on, or at least that's what they say, will be different.
Mhm.
And how crazy is that? That's
and just
super
the
ambitious.
setting. It's Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, they play around with that setting so much that like anyone that's invested in that franchise is like, nope.
I will
Nope.
say that it does
Nope.
not strike me as like super Lord of the Ringsy. It's just
It's in
fantasy
it's in
with a
Middle
crazy.
Earth. It's in Middle
I feel like I have to
Uh,
forget that it's Lord of the Rings to enjoy that game. If I'm going to
What?
enjoy that game.
What?
Yeah.
You're killing orcs. It's gonna be elves. You got Sauron like lurking in the back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good, all the pieces.
I'm
are in
sure
place.
Gollum will somehow show up.
Exactly. That's exactly the problem. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know about that one. Destiny though, I'll be interested to see if they can make me excited. I feel like Destiny is a game I'm going to play a lot of, going to thoroughly enjoy.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, I am not excited about it.
Yeah, that
Pre-E3.
is, I think, a lot of people's perspective on that game. I think because it looks so familiar that everyone's kind of just passing it off. But I think if you get maybe a good group of friends to...
I feel
to
like what they've
play-
shown just hasn't been different enough, right? Like
Yeah.
maybe like some
It's
sense
so
of like
familiar.
the groups combining and interacting in a big battle. But otherwise, it's like, okay, kill some things and get some cool guns and check them out.
Yeah.
Do you think people would be more excited about Destiny if Borderlands had not been such a big thing?
I think so.
Oh,
Okay.
for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, it feels like a natural extension on that without the crazy humor and stuff.
And when you say it, when you reduce it down to Destiny is just Bungie's Borderlands, that's so not. You can't get excited about that. At
Do you
least I
think?
can't.
Do you think hype for that too is dependent on your friends? Because that's
Yeah,
not really a
yeah,
single game. Do
absolutely.
you feel like you need friends to get hyped and to get hyped with each other
Absolutely.
to really
I think it'll be a big part of it, but I do think that there's definitely a lure to me in just like the amount of scope and space there is to explore in that world and just how beautiful and different it looks.
Yeah.
So I think that at least is working in its favor. But I don't think that they've shown
Yeah, they haven't shown
enough
anything
about
No.
what's
They've shown
what's
nothing.
different about Destiny to really get me hooked.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the defense is we're Bungie and this is our next game that isn't Halo, and I need more than that. Like,
Yeah.
prove to me
Show
that Destiny is
us.
the next big thing.
Show us.
Yeah. Totally.
This year they're going big.
Let's hope.
Calling it right now.
Let's hope.
10-minute stage demo. Destiny.
Cool. Well, I think it's time for us to switch out. We got another group of guys coming in here, so
excited for this.
thank you for listening to us for all that time, and they're gonna have some fun.
Ben going for this?
Unmute them. Okay, we're back.
Oh, by the way, I told them
Okay, may I actually say something? Sure. I saw there was a big misunderstanding about when I said that there will be 8 new games announced by Nintendo. That was 100% from my butt. That is not anything other than a simple wish from me. That was all from just my butt. So please don't quote me for that.
Don't quote his butt.
But
Are we still
Ben, you have
muted?
something to announce.
Yes.
What are you doing?
Live.
Oh, we're live.
Okay.
You're live. 'Cause
I-
I was explaining.
I was gonna say, I was
Yeah.
like, why are you talking to him? We're muted. Oh, we're not? Oh.
No, we're totally on now. Yeah,
I've been looking forward to this all week. So what we're gonna
You're
do?
not really on.
Oh,
camera.
I'm sorry.
roll in.
Whoa.
Now you are. There you go.
Okay. So I had this idea for a segment. I've been looking forward to it all week. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play a game with Kyle Bossman, Ryan Stevens, and Brandon Jones. And what it's going to be is it's going to be 20 questions, and they're all going to be related to E3. Now let me explain the rules. When I ask a question, the first person to raise his hand gets to answer.
Yes.
If you get it wrong, you cannot answer again.
Okay.
Then the next person of those who are remaining gets to raise their hand. If there's only one person left, obviously they get to answer it.
Sure.
You get 1 point for each correct question. There are 20 questions. The person that wins gets a Sonic Dash energy drink.
Wait.
Did
I give you that?
Yes, you got it to me. That's at least a year old, and they get a Sonic doll action figure thing.
Can I tell you, I hate these, and I still want to win it.
Okay, great. Are you guys ready? Do you have any questions?
I got scores up by everyone's names.
I'm gonna get out of the
Cool,
way.
cool, cool,
You
cool,
go
cool.
too rapid fire,
All right,
so
I won't
can
go too
update
rapid.
the
So
score.
this is all E3 trivia.
Yes. No one has seen this
No, you
document.
got to show them the envelope. This
No
is
one
really
has seen
cool.
this document other than
Oh,
me.
you can see
kinda
it.
read
You
through
gotta
it right
get
now.
closer to the
Okay,
camera.
no one has seen this other than me.
Closer.
It's E3 trivia, get hype, confidential information in here. All right, here we go.
Answer E3.
I spent way too long making these
I'm
questions.
real excited. I'm really, really excited.
Yeah, I've spent way too long making these questions when I should have been doing other
Can
things.
everyone still hear Ben okay when he's over there?
Let's talk about it.
Can you guys hear me? Can you hear?
It's gonna take
what I'm
45
saying?
seconds.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, here we go.
First
Don't
question.
do that.
Oh, sorry. Doing so many wrong things. First question. What year was the first E3? Brandon Jones.
1995.
Correct.
Oh, wow.
1 point.
Very nice.
Brandon
Nice.
Jones.
I didn't think I was going to get any points, so I'm so happy.
Brandon Jones, 1 point. First one on the board. Question number 2. Who hosted Ubisoft's E3 2010 conference? Kyle Bossman.
Joel McHale.
Correct. 1 point, Kyle Bossman.
You could have raised your hand before. You probably got it already.
All right. This one's a little bit more complicated than the previous two. Question number 3. In 2011, Nintendo showed off a tech demo of Zelda. And what else?
A bird flying around this lake.
Kyle Bossman, 2 points. Very aggressive. Very aggressive. I like it.
That Bird Lake game turned out to be pretty good, though. It's a good Bird Lake game.
Yeah,
It
never
wasn't even
became
a
a
good. It wasn't even a good graphic demo. Like it was. It looks bad. It looks
bad.
blurry and
It
bad.
looks bad.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
1 point.
Question
Looks bad.
number 4. Which game did Microsoft announce in 2005, at E3 2005, but did not release until 2010? Ryan Stevens!
Alan Wake.
Alan Wake, on
Very
the board!
nice, Ryan.
On
Very
the
well
board.
done.
We're staying competitive here. We're staying
I
competitive
raised
here.
my hand before I said 2010.
What year did Kevin Butler appear on Sony's E3 stage? Kyle Bossman looking a little hesitant.
2011.
Incorrect.
2009?
Incorrect.
No, come on.
2010!
Not
Let's say
fair.
10.
Thanks,
By elimination, Ryan Stevens is tied up with Kyle Bossman.
Okay.
Brandon Jones still at 1.
Okay, here we go.
All right, next question. Duke Nukem Forever was shown for the very first time at which E3? I'm going to have to give it to Kyle.
97.
Incorrect. You have to raise your hand again. All right. Ryan.
98?
Dang. Oh my
I was going to
gosh.
say 97 too.
Were
Thanks,
you
Kyle.
honestly? Yeah, it was 97.
Oh man,
my gosh.
Ryan Stevens
Oh,
going ahead. All right,
sorry.
can I ask you to not raise your hand until the question is finished?
No, you can't ask that.
Okay, can't ask
You know
that.
us.
The host is being rejected. All right, I want to preface this.
Sounds like a parasite.
I want to preface this. This is a kind of a trick question.
Okay,
think
so
a
we
little-
should wait probably.
Well,
with this
think
one.
carefully because
Okay.
you might make a fool out of yourself.
All right.
Already there.
What handheld gaming device did Sony announce at E3 2009? Ryan Stevens.
PSP Go?
Correct! Correct! 4 points, Ryan Stevens.
Oh,
All right.
I'd like to thank God.
is it possible for me to catch up? It's still good. I still got.
Oh man,
question.
We got this.
yeah, you got a lot of
Okay.
questions. You
All right,
got
all
a
right.
lot of questions.
Okay.
What game did Konami tease during their E3 2011?
Contra.
Ryan Stevens blowing everyone away.
I don't think that's a fair question. I don't think that one's a fair question.
I was in Quiz Bowl, and sometimes you have to just leap. We're not losing points for wrong answers or interruptions.
Wait,
True, yeah.
They
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
officially tease Contra. They officially teased the C. The Contra C, but they didn't say Contra.
I'm Kyle Boffman.
Okay. All right, give him the point.
I don't really
That's fine, give
think
him the
that's
point.
fair.
That is true. Is that like the only? Did you know that? Because that's like the only thing Konami's ever teased.
We've
ever
been
in the
talking
history
about
of
it for a
It
while.
was a softball, all right?
Oh my gosh. Oh, unbelievable.
Okay, it was not
I'm gonna
first.
take a nap in the corner.
Oh,
It was not first
Put her
publicly shown.
okay.
But what big? It was not first publicly shown here. But what big game did id Software show off at E3 2002? Ryan Stevens.
Doom 3?
Correct.
Nice.
Why were you telling me that one? Trying to get this out of my head?
He did. He said Doom 3, right?
That is odd.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Ryan Stevens.
That's me.
All right. A popular music group appeared at Microsoft's press conference in E3 2009. Kyle Boston.
The Beatles.
Correct.
Well,
Half of the Beatles.
Kind of.
Oh, okay.
Yoko
You're right.
Ono.
I'm sorry.
Remaining members.
Yes, the remaining members of the Beatles.
I like Ringo.
John Lennon did not come back from the
I'm not
dead.
going to complain about that question. That was a good question.
All right. In 1997 and 1998, which city was E3 held in? Kyle Bossman.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Correct. Where are we at? Okay, you're behind by 2. Brandon, you're still at 1.
As long as I got one.
Okay,
That's all I
all right.
wanted.
On the board.
Yeah.
You wanna
All right.
do-
What year did Nintendo unveil the Game Boy Micro? Kyle Bossman?
With the half raised hand.
2005.
Correct! Oh, that was a big one.
Oh, that's
That
a
was
good pull.
one.
That's a good pull. Okay.
Okay, no,
no, I
only
got
one down.
fans.
Here we
Don't
go.
root
Here we
for
go.
me.
I'm getting.
Don't root for me at all.
Okay, here we go.
Which entertainer did a performance for Dance Central 3? Which professional? Kyle Bossman.
Usher.
Correct.
Right.
We're all tied up. We're all tied up.
Wait, I want to be over here for this one.
Okay.
At E3
Go Ryan.
2008. This is kind of a complicated question a little bit, more so than the other ones.
Okay.
A 360 version of a former PS3 exclusive game was announced.
Final Fantasy 13.
Correct!
He gave it to me before I even finished.
Yeah.
No,
Previous. That was a good question.
You rejected
That was a good question.
I
That was a good
can't
question.
answer. Okay. Again, pay attention to this one as well.
Okay.
At the time of E3 1995, who was Sony's mascot? Or what? Kyle Bossman.
Polygon Man.
Correct!
Yes.
Whoa.
I'm pumped. I'm real pumped.
Heard that before.
He's a purple polygon jaggy face.
Didn't Shakespeare write that originally?
You purple polygon jaggy face.
Shakespeare coined so many things in video
I know,
games.
it's
It's
so
so weird.
Next question.
Correct.
Which E3 hall is historically mocked?
Oh, he beat me on that. He beat me on that
Kensho
one.
Hall.
Why?
Wait a
and
minute.
why?
Wait a minute.
Why?
Wait a minute.
And why?
Stop this immediately. Which E3 convention hall is what the man said when you raised your hand.
Yeah.
Because we know which one he's
I'm
talking
going to
about.
one meeting.
I wrote a column for Game Set Watch called like Slumming in Kensho Hall.
Cries for
Okay.
Kensho.
All right.
There are like almost no games there. There's almost all like bad controllers and reprints. Though I will add value add. Before The Witcher ever had a publisher, The Witcher was about the only game in Kensho Hall, like in 05.
I think you got to give him the point.
Oh, but he didn't answer the question.
Oh.
Why is Kensho Hall mocked?
because there's
Plus
crappy
20.
stuff in it.
That's it. That's all you had to do.
I thought I was explaining why.
Okay, all right.
He earned that point.
Kind
He
of
earned
glad
that
I
one.
No, that was
don't
great.
Kensho
That was
Kids
great.
in the Hall.
Ryan Stevens answering with grace.
Yeah.
Grace.
Not me. I'm too pumped.
Grace Jones.
This,
Eddie
Okay.
Murphy. You're Eddie Murphy.
Okay.
what was the last year that StarCraft Ghost made an appearance at E3?
That's a really good question,
So with
Ben.
Gorilla?
That's a really good question, Ben.
Brandon Jones, you had your hand raised first.
2001?
Incorrect. Ryan Stevens.
2005.
Correct!
Oh, what a
That was a 3-point shot from Pat.
That's late.
That was
I
good.
think that's when they moved it to Guerrilla Games.
Yeah.
After
Oh.
the robot, what was that game? Guilty Spark in the System or
That was
something?
sick,
I think
Ryan.
it's not
That was real
Guilty.
good. That was real good.
What was that game called?
Okay, this question is a little bit different in format, so pay attention. At E3 2007, Nintendo announced 3 new peripherals for the Wii. For the Wii, name 2 of them. Ryan Stevens.
Balance board, vitality sensor.
No, incorrect. Vitality sensor is incorrect.
Balance board steering wheel.
Yes! The remaining one was the Zapper.
Oh, the Zap. That was all in 1 year. Yeah.
Wow. Steering wheel?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a peripheral, dude.
I guess, yeah.
100% peripheral.
Piece of plastic.
Ryan
That's a
Stevens,
peripheral.
Ryan Stevens is getting a little bit salty at the moment.
He's getting salty.
You can perif with that.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, you can totally. Okay.
No moving parts.
I didn't want to do 2-year questions in a row, but there are 2-year questions in a row. What year was the last E3 appearance of the Dreamcast?
I'll take a shot.
Kyle Bossman.
2001.
Correct!
Really stoked about that one.
This is it.
Did you
Oh my God,
even
Joe.
own a Dreamcast?
Never owned a Dreamcast. Here we go.
Tied up.
Here we go.
It's tied up.
Jones,
I just
Jones gets this. They have to have a tiebreaker, though.
there are 2 questions left.
Oh my gosh.
What was the first year E3 was televised? Kyle Bossman.
2004.
Incorrect. Ryan Stevens.
I'm not quite sure what you mean by this, but 2003?
Incorrect.
2006?
Incorrect. None of you get a point.
What was it? What's the answer?
2005 on G4.
They did daily television in 03. I mean, what does that mean to televise E3? Because there was daily live shows from E3.
Press conferences.
Well, he didn't say that. So that's why I said 03. It was the first year
That's
G4 was
so,
in
okay,
broadcasting.
sorry. Not enough detail in the
Just
question.
defending my answer.
I think it was a
correct.
great great question.
That's cool. It's fine.
All right, so throw away. Last question.
Hey, put a slowdown on the fear of flames. Get this guy to shut up.
Oh.
Fear of limes.
I didn't know we were gonna have. I didn't know.
limes.
Yeah,
I didn't
nice.
know we were gonna have a tie, so I kind of feel bad doing this. The last
Pokemon.
and final question is a bit of a troll.
Well, do your troll question. That's
It's a
good.
troll
That's
question.
the best way to
So
end
I
this.
wanted to end.
Okay.
For this one last question.
Uh-huh.
No, you can raise your hand anytime. Never mind. Which GT staff member appeared during Nintendo's E3 2007 and what game did he demo? Kyle Bossman.
Michael Damiani demoed The Legend of Zelda Phantom Hourglass for the Nintendo DS.
That is correct.
Gentlemen.
I knew that one though.
Did you?
I knew the first one and the last
Because
one.
of GT's
The first question and the last question.
Ryan,
didn't raise
you
my
have
hand.
some real legit E3 knowledge.
I like trivia.
Yeah, that was fun. Oh my gosh.
Kyle Bossman, I would like to officially present you with your prize.
Daddy hates.
If you could drink that, please,
I'd probably drink this, unless it's expired.
on stream.
I apologize to all the people who were rooting for me. Every time I looked at someone, I was like, "Go Brandon!" Woo!
There's your prize.
Oh my gosh, and everyone look at this dumb thing. Look how awful this is. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Ben, this was really fun.
Yeah, I seriously was looking forward to it all week. I was so excited.
They
Did you
were
guys
good
like the questions?
They were great questions.
Yeah, they were good.
Chad wants you to drink it right now.
I wish we had I want
You
the
know,
ability
you
to
don't die.
I wish we had like a click or a button or something.
know,
wish
I
we
know.
could like.
This is for you, Chad.
We're very gorilla here.
Oh God, because my
Well,
my
smells
thumb
like
is definitely quicker.
It's
than
bubbling
mine.
over.
If you vomit, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
No. Oh no! Don't do that. That's gonna dash right through your intestines.
You gotta go fast.
This is good.
It's good.
This is good.
No, you're lying.
It tastes
It's not
like
good.
You
Smarties. This
drink
is not bad.
Monster like it's going on its style.
Yeah,
so
this
it's like
is-
you'll drink anything.
I can officially
Kyle
endorse
likes it.
Sonic Dash the drink. Not bad.
Give it to Kyle. He'll drink anything.
Yeah, this is all right.
Room temperature.
All right.
Who's next?
Better or worse than Sonic 2006?
It's way better than
We're
2000.
running behind.
All right, we're running behind.
So what? The thing we have to do left is insights, personal anticipated, and then the unveiling of the top 10.
So let's do insights next.
How long is the top 10?
7 minutes, I think.
Okay.
Right?
So
I didn't check the team.
10-ish minutes.
Yeah.
And personal picks will take about 10-ish minutes.
Did you
Yeah.
put the hype train back on, or are we just
No,
talking?
we're
just
talking.
openly talking
We're-
about our
we're
schedule.
discussing, yeah.
Sure. All right.
We're letting everyone decide here.
Okay.
All right. So.
Yeah, get in your insights. Let's do it.
All right. So.
Oh, Ben, that was so fun. Thank you.
Sort of the
You're welcome.
berserk.
Yeah.
I had a lot of
So
fun
what?
too.
Are we? Let's talk about some other stuff.
insights is supposed to be me, Brandon, and Ben.
Yeah.
So,
Let's do it.
All right.
You guys scoot over.
Time for some insight.
Come on, ride the train.
You want to like.
See, that's why I can't think of the history
you
of
want me
E3.
to
I'm all
operate?
about the forward. You know, I'm all just thinking, what's next? You know what I mean?
Brandon Jones, I want
I don't
to.
even remember what happened at last year's E3. That's a lie. I do.
If I were to come up with another trivia thing, would you want a chance to redeem yourself?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
Unlike Ren Stevens, I don't like trivia.
Okay. I'm sorry.
My wife
Sorry,
is
I-
amazing at
You don't
trivia,
know
though.
Jack?
Because it's fun. I'm not good at it.
Towards the camera.
Oh yeah, we gotta just semicircle up again.
Here, I'll let you sit here because it's
Yeah.
probably
That's
easier.
So E3 Insight, eh?
Yeah, we're gonna talk E3 insights.
Let's do it.
What's up?
Oh my gosh, 10
Just
to
about-
9 was the final score.
Yeah, it
Are you
was. It was
joking?
close.
Oh man, I
And
feel
Jones
so
could've
bad that the
ruined it.
final question was a trick question.
10 to 9 to 1, I believe, was the final score, Kyle.
Yes.
Sure.
Well, we would have made the last question worth 12 points. We should have done that.
I believe
Then he
for a
never
brief
gets
moment
on.
there, I was undefeated.
Yeah, you were.
What was
You got the first
Do you remember what
question.
the question? It was 95.
95 was the
Nice.
first year, wasn't
Weren't
it?
you just like saying the answers out loud without raising your hand?
Well, I said I knew.
It's like a minus point.
I knew.
each time.
Why did you do
So
that? What was going on there?
All right,
'Cause I-
E3 insights.
I knew
Let's
he
do
was
this.
going to say it, so I could
All
see
right.
it happening.
I just got
So,
a press
before it
release
happened.
about
Uh-oh.
Dragon Age Inquisition, and it just says, "Please meet the Iron Bull, the muscle."
Sweet.
All right.
We're getting lots of fun emails
know
today
that.
and this
So
weekend.
earlier on, we talked about E3 memories
Yeah.
and everyone's first time at E3. So one of the things that I find kind of interesting about E3 is kind of the misconceptions about E3 in general for those who don't actually get to attend it. There's the whole press conferences that happen on Monday. Some have happened on Sunday.
Right.
And they roll into Tuesday, and then there's the actual the actual show proper. So one of the things I always get like asked, and I don't know if you already know this, I do apologize, but there are people out there who don't understand this. So if you're ever looking to go to E3, here are some things you should know about. The press conferences are their own separate thing that are invite only.
Right.
You do not need to have an E3 badge. Whoa. Power. Lights behind the thing. Oh. There you go. You do not need an E3 badge to actually go to any of the press conferences, but you do need to be invited by the actual company.
Right.
So if you have an E3 badge, you show up to Nintendo. Technically, you could maybe get in if you're nice, but you're technically not officially invited, so you can't go. Same thing with Sony and Microsoft, stuff like that. That's how it's been in the past. On the flip side, if you're a cool guy and you get invited to every single one of the press conferences, but you don't actually have an E3 badge, you don't actually get to go to E3.
Right.
So I think people are like, man, when I go to E3, I get to go. Like I always get asked, like, how do you go to the Nintendo press conference? Where do I go wait in line for that? Where do I go wait in line for Sony? It's like, that doesn't really work like that. The other thing is the whole thing about only like press and industry get to go, and then there's like no like public that can go. And I think it was during an earlier stream this week, we pulled it up. If you go to the register page for E3, there's actually a way to pay to go to E3, but it costs before a certain date, before April something, it costs $795. And then after that date, which we're past it, it costs $995 to go to E3. So if you have about $1,000, you can actually pay to go to E3.
Wow.
If you're pretty rich and stuff.
One thing to say about the press conferences I find fascinating is right now we're dealing with the schedule of like where everyone's going to be next Monday when the press conferences go down. And I've actually never attended any press conference.
Wow.
I've attended weird press conferences by like Midway or Activision or something that like take place outside of E3, but never anything at E3. And it doesn't look like fun because whenever we're waiting, all I can see is just like people standing waiting out in line, and then they go inside and wait for another half an hour for the show to start, especially if it's like Sony or Ubisoft. So the actual getting around that day is a nightmare. Like actually, like especially if you're just driving yourself, like to get to the Galen, park, see that, and then leave, go someplace else, park, see that. It's like it just really eats up all your time. So it's amazing that people can come in like during that day and like sit down in a panel on All Access and talk about stuff because it's just like a nightmare trying to get to all those events.
I think maybe only Konami was, I might be wrong, the only company, maybe Square Enix 1 year, a few years, the only company's ever had some kind of an actual press conference in the convention center, the Los Angeles Convention Center. Usually they are hosted offsite, as you said. And man, I remember when Nintendo used to have it at the Kodak Theater, like way over in Hollywood. Now it's like they used to move it over to Nokia, the LA Live, and that was extremely nice to be like right next to the convention center.
Because Nokia didn't exist, nor did the Galen.
Yeah, no, LA Live. Oh, I mean, yeah, those didn't exist. And LA Live was only built up that JW Marriott there, which a lot of people go to. Like that stuff's building up. But anyway, that's kind of less interesting to people. The other thing is like the relevancy of E3. Like, not like people keep asking like. This year, if you look at what's going on coverage-wise, like Twitch put out that schedule. They have a giant list of all these game demos going to be there. The publishers themselves are going to be streaming like every day all the demos and the walkthroughs and the interviews. I keep getting asked a question like, first, is there any relevancy to like traditional gaming media going there anymore? What is their role there going to E3 anymore when the average person can just watch all these streams and get all the information that way without actually having to rely on like videos from our site? And two, remember before E3 changed, like in 2006, the last normal E3, all the publishers started to get angry and upset about what E3 became, and then they broke it up, and it was a disaster for everyone.
Right.
And now we're starting to see some of that, like Valve doesn't go to E3, Blizzard doesn't go to E3. These companies continually kind of pull out of E3 and don't have a full presence there, and they kind of space it out their own events. Is that eventually going to like change E3? I didn't know what your guys' thoughts were on that. What's our role anymore? Like, or is it still important for game sites to go? Like, people who haven't been to E3, is it like, you're doomed. Like, no one wants to see you go to E3 anymore. They don't care about your coverage. And two, do you think, like, game companies are going to keep pulling out of E3, or do you feel that there's something E3 could do to get more companies to come back again? Like, what?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I mean, as Nintendo has shown, if you look at it in like the coldest, most distant way possible, you can do a lot of... Nintendo has done what they usually do with E3, spread throughout the year with Nintendo Directs. And they get a lot of attention for that, and they don't have to share it with anybody else. Good for them, bad for us. You know, if every single company did that, I wouldn't have that thing to look forward to once a year. I wouldn't have that huge concentration of stuff for 3 days that just bombarded me, you know? And I think maybe publishers would get their individual games more attention, but I hope it never goes away because I feel like it's our event, you know?
Yeah, I think I don't know. I think a lot of these things reflect less on E3 and more just on the industry. You know, if somebody's like, oh, I'm not going to go there, I'm going to do my own event, like, that speaks more about really what that company's up to this year, more than like, oh, E3 did not please them, and so they're leaving. You know, it's like they just decided to do something else. I think we're always going to need E3 because we need somewhere to physically meet. You know, it's like you can stream all you want, but like I still need to go meet with these people and talk with people. Like, and I've actually never really done that before, because everything that I used to do with, you know, game trailers at E3 like a decade ago was all just like, oh my god, all this media is going to come in, let's just make sure all of it gets up on the side fast as possible. And then when, you know, Shane came on board and all you guys, the editorial staff came in, and, you know, we started to like draft our own editorial voice. Now I'm like actually looking forward to E3 to like meet people, to like meet the team behind these certain games and check in with them, and like I can't do that if they're not there, you know. So like I think everybody needs to connect with E3, because I think it's just like, I don't understand why obviously if you want to release stuff early in the week, that'll benefit you. So if you want to release trailers like before the show, but it's all still surrounding the show. And I think it's right before the summer. It's you can announce something and have it ready for Q4, have it ready for the end of the year. You know, judging by the way that they Xbox and Sony scheduled their console launches, you know, just kind of fit perfectly right in there. I think just before you kick off the summer, you need to have some kind of big mecha gaming event. So I think E3 is going to change. We might go through another weird period of it, like kind of downsizing and try to split up. You know, they obviously won't do that the same way they did before. But E3 go away for good, I don't think it's just ever going to happen. I think you have to have that central black hole event that just kind of sucks up everything in games.
And it bums me out that some companies just don't go anymore. Like, I know they opt to have their own events. They have big conventions that they can do for that. But here's an idea I'm going to throw out there that I've been throwing around for a little while. They used to do E for All. It used to be a public event when E3 went to hell and went to that E3 Samaka. Like Gamescom, like Tokyo Game Show, should E3 have public days where consumers can go to the show floor and get hands-on with that stuff and not have to wait to Comic-Con, till PAX Prime, till whatever comes later in the year? People who come to E3, should they do like that format, maybe like a 2 days media, 2 days public? Do you think that might generate more interest in it, and maybe companies who have left are like, oh man, like the consumers are going to be there, like we gotta let them get hands on. They're gonna be like, where's Valve? You know, where's Blizzard? I want to play these games. Like, come on, like show them to us. Do you think that might be a solution?
Well, maybe the Smash Brothers thing is going to be kind of a test for that. You know, it's like one of the biggest social events that they've had around this E3, so that really anybody can be a part of. So, yeah, I think that would do good. I think it's a question of, you know, like I say, if you're dealing directly with us, if you have people that like, I'm familiar with this outlet, I'm familiar with this company, I'm excited to see what they have to say about my game, I want to tell them about my game, and then they can go off and talk about it, I can go off and develop it, and then we'll meet up at a later time. Whereas if you have just this big influx of fans, I think it can be harder to quantify, what do we get out of that? You know, it's like, how do we know, how do we know that was beneficial to us in any way?
I mean,
what would you use as the gauge for success?
I do think it's a little bit strange, though. We have a friend who works on a popular YouTube channel, and the E3 registration, they don't really consider a prominent YouTube channel as a media outlet.
Right.
And I think, especially now in 2014, that's really backwards. You know, a lot of the user has so much power to get out there and have a huge audience that I don't know. I just think that's a little bit of backwards thinking.
It's kind of, I mean, it's going to be hard. Like, what if one day, you know, like we all switch to like YouTube? Like, it feels like, for at least, and the people who are shouting gaff stuff right now, they're going to like this. It's that the way game media coverage happens has changed, and it is changing. A lot of it is moving to YouTube, and they don't, unless you're like backed by a giant like company, then they don't take you seriously, even if you're doing like a huge amount of views. They're like, where's your website? Like, do you have a website? Like, no one goes to the websites anymore. They go watch my YouTube video of me talking to the camera. Why do I need to go buy a domain name? Like, this archaic system that you have to buy into. But also on the other side, like everyone knows, GAF got rejected for the first time because they're not a qualified media outlet or something. And whatever. I'm surprised that E3 hasn't reversed that decision yet and let the staff go from GAF, but I think that's just the E3 administration, whoever, the ESA and them falling behind with the times and not being able to adapt with the technology and how games coverage happens. Yeah. This is some food for thought, but I think, unless you guys have anything else to add, I think we're running a little behind.
Oh, sure, yeah, no, let's get to the next
I think it's time for the most anticipated picks from the GT staff, as well as unveiling of our game trailers, top 10 most anticipated games of E3. So we're going to switch out real quick. Thanks.
Brandon, I think you're on.
I just put, I'll pop it. Okay.
Whoop, whoop.
Alright.
I'm back. Hello.
I played.
Brian Stevens is back.
I saw you issue a lot of templates.
Brandon Jones will be back in a moment. So,
Kyle, you want to sit in for a minute?
Sure.
yeah.
People like you. You guys like Kyle?
Woo! So your personal.
We're looking at a giant chat screen, by the way. I don't know if that's been explained.
That's right. Yeah, the only monitor we have is not.
Yeah, but
us,
we have the microphone right in the middle, so. Oh, yeah, they got mad at you for not mentioning him, Jammer Lammy. But.
I love Jammer Lammy. I've played it, adore it. Parappa Rapper 2 sucks.
Did you play Major's Minor March?
We talked about that too, actually. Yeah.
But yeah, Kyle left out the good one.
What's that called? Shannon. What's the name of that company?
That's how they. Yeah, that's how. I don't know. Yeah.
That was good.
Oh, really quick. Well, we'll see if Brandon comes back. We'll take a brief interlude. We're going to be streaming every night during E3 with all of our hands-on impression and eyes-on impressions.
Gonna play some games. Gonna tell you about them.
Whatever new impressions we can come up with, if you hear something, I don't know.
Every weekday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, we're going to be streaming, well, maybe not Friday.
Maybe not Friday.
We'll be streaming pretty much every day through E3. And if you click that little, what is it on? I should know this. It's the heart, right?
Yeah, the follow.
Yeah, click the follow button and you'll know when we start streaming, because we don't know exactly when we're going to start streaming. We're going to aim for around 8:39 Pacific. Lots of cool stuff.
Oh man, don't get my hopes up with Fallout 4 talk. Oh.
Mr. Peter Hines will.
All right. I mean, you guys can start reading the personal picks.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Oh,
is there personal picks from everybody?
There, somewhere.
What is this?
Oh, so the whole staff submitted their personal picks.
Are they not up there?
I see one page of some stuff.
Oh my gosh!
Oh wait, here we go.
Your memories.
QLOCOEI. I'm gonna say Closei. I love Guitar Man. That is a sick game.
And don't forget Huber. He's on the last page.
Yeah, we got him.
There we go.
We got Huber.
Yeah, we'll start with Huber since he's on a different page. But he's his personal picks: Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, The Evil Within, as we knew, and Resident Evil 7.
He picked Resident Evil 7 as one of his most anticipated games.
Yep.
All right.
He's pretty much
sure
in with that.
Well, in that case, it opens up a lot of things.
I think you have to read them with more aplomb. You have to each of those 3 games has to be spoken as if it's a huge thing for Michael Huber. You sort of just rattled them off.
Yeah, do your Huber.
Yeah.
I think you've got a good one. You've got a good Huber.
No, but
okay, I guess I'll sit in. Are you sitting in?
No, why would I sit in?
Okay, so what's up with Brandon?
Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain.
All right, I'll hang out then.
Okay,
cool.
The Evil Within. I can't do it.
Yeah,
Resident Evil 7. Yeah, only Huber can do Huber.
It's
Dark Root Basin. I can do that one.
Say each word like it's important.
You do it.
Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain.
That's pretty good.
That's every single word is important. Is how you have to read that. So anyway, that's Michael Huber's picks. Those are what he's going to be most excited to see at E3. What else do we have? Is it everyone in the offices?
Everyone.
Cool.
Who do you want to draft?
I'll take Daniel Kaiser. Daniel Kaiser answered this. This is surprising. Daniel Kaiser wants to see The Legend of Zelda for Wii U.
Sweet.
Cool. Uncharted 4, and I'm only giving him 3. And The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. I think we're going to see that a lot today.
Yeah, he did not listen to Damiani's rules with only 3 games.
Yep. So we'll just do his first 3. Cool. Zelda U totally...
I wrote 5 of them for him.
No,
he had more.
Zelda U totally, I think, could be game of the show if it works out right. You know what I mean? It has that potential.
Doesn't every Zelda?
Yes.
Yeah.
Doesn't every game?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, it has the potential.
You still
but
that thing?
It's so hard to say, how much will we see?
I can't help it.
It's making me nauseous.
Okay, all right, I'll put it away. I'm sorry.
What is it? It's
this is my prize. That
Sonic Boom Red Bull, or what is that?
It's like curdled
Sonic
sweet
Dash?
tarts.
In case you missed it, Blood, this final score was 10-9 to 1.
To what?
Oh, we had an E3
The trivia.
quiz.
Oh, the trivia. Yeah, sorry.
Well, since Brandon isn't here, I'll read Brandon Jones.
Okay.
Dying Light.
Oh yeah, he was
wow.
really excited about that gameplay trailer.
Because I had a good trailer.
I got to play the 5-minute demo of Dying Light, and it's one of those things where it's such the tiny slice. I really don't know it could go either way. There's a lot of cool stuff. That grappling hook, though, the latest trailer, good stuff. Star Wars Battlefront. He likes the Star Wars. And The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt.
Yeah, I think good picks. Good picks, Brandon.
Do you want to do this one?
Yeah. Witcher 3. I mean, I talked about it earlier. I don't know how much.
Oh, wait, so you're reading your own? You're doing
yeah.
Blood Bloodworth?
Witcher 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Anything else?
I had others, and then I forgot.
So it's like Witcher 3 is up here, basically, and your others are like down here.
No, I mean, I'm definitely would be psyched to see some Zelda. And then, X, I definitely want to see that huge freaking world. I think it's going to be a good year for big games, for sure.
Cool.
Amin Yaya says Daniel Kaiser and Kyle Bossman should make a baby, and I think that doesn't work.
Yeah,
it doesn't work.
Maybe some test tubes and splicing. I guess I'll do me.
Sure.
We're just going down the order.
Yeah, do you.
I said Project Beast, because I believe.
Absolutely, yeah.
Seeing it in motion mattered. And new games. I mean, I have been privileged enough to already see really big demos of like Shadows of Mordor, the new Batman game. And I'm saying this is my personal list, and I've seen these. I've seen these in motion. There's going to be cool stuff.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing more than 3 seconds of The Witcher gameplay.
Yeah.
And, this little guy that keeps popping on my shoulder is that Rhyme game that they showed at Gamescom.
Sure, that's a really good E3 game.
From Tequila Works. I like adventure games.
Yeah.
And, even though it looks like Wind Waker, I still like it, so...
Despite that fact.
That's
a good E3 game because you finally get to go see it and see what it's about and, like, play it.
Yeah.
I like that.
And I expect good things.
Yep. May I read one? Who's next?
We're up to Benjamin Moore.
All right, so Ben Moore is excited for X, in parentheses Wii U, as if we don't know what X means. Persona Q, which is the 3DS one, right? With the super deformed ones?
Because we had to remind him about that game.
Yep. And The Legend of Zelda, in parentheses Wii U again.
Yeah. At this point I would definitely be more excited for Zelda Wii U than 3DS. Rohan Rivas, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, he's kind of legendary when it comes to playing Call of Duty.
Yeah,
yeah.
Somebody needs
seriously, like, if you want somebody to make Call of Duty footage, just, call Rohan.
Yeah.
And then The Division. Yeah, I mean, that game.
That's great.
It kind of sucks that it slipped, but hopefully we see another meaty demo from that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I hope we see what, like, the other environments, like they showed that
Absolutely.
forest.
We'll be in that forest. They'll show that forest.
That demo, and I'm like, well.
So Rohan picked 2? That was it?
That was all he had on there was 2.
Okay.
Elise Wilhelms, The Legend of Zelda, Wii U. Evolve and Sunset Overdrive.
Nice.
Kind of surprised by Sunset Overdrive. I don't know if don't know.
I think Sunset Overdrive just looks like a fun game.
Is she an Insomniac fan?
I'm not sure.
Evolve, another one I've got to play one little round and knowing what they were doing. So much potential.
Yeah.
Really, really curious to see where it goes once it gets released in the wild.
Yeah.
Can you do that one?
Rob Slusser?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
Rob?
Fake animosity.
Rob picked some good ones. All right, so Rob Slusser, internet famous Rob Slusser, wants to see The Division again, which I'm certain.
Yeah, he's been really, really high on The Division.
Uncharted 4.
Yep.
Which I'm certain.
Oh yeah, that's one of the ones. That's one of the ones I definitely want to see. I want to see what Naughty Dog does on PS4.
Me too. I don't think we will. You know what? We probably will. They got to have something.
They will see at least something.
17 people will go on stage and demo and then quit immediately afterwards.
And then I've seen this pop up in the comments a lot. So Rob Slusser is your man, everybody. No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
Yeah, great pick.
Very cool.
Can we get a Huber reading on No Man's Sky?
No Man's Sky. Yeah. You got to No Man's Sky.
Oh man, yeah. I hope Huber's able to watch this right now.
Yeah.
Matt
he's
Blair,
better at it than anyone.
Yeah, Matt Blair, who is kind of behind the scenes. I don't know how often he even gets onto camera. He's also got Zelda on there.
Great.
He's got Shenmue 3. Believin'.
Matt, that's a little. That can't be your anticipated game.
No, if we give Huber Resident Evil 7.
Fine, you're right. Yeah, that's fair, I guess.
And then NHL 15, which Matt is playing NHL like every night of every day.
NHL 15 is one of his
sports game. He's off the list.
Here's the thing: I get liking that game because it's a legit game, but like, well, how do you anticipate that?
I don't know. I mean, that's me. Like, can they make a new King's Quest? Like, I don't know. Wait,
What?
I'm sorry, I just had a brain hiccup.
Yeah, that would
Sorry.
be hype.
King's Quest would be
I was
great.
thinking about hockey. I was thinking about people saying things like
Telltale,
Enemy 3.
King's Quest.
Oh, gotcha.
They
Let's do
were,
it.
they were supposed to, and they dropped it.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I would like a new King's Quest. Justin Spear, The Witcher 3, Wild Hunt. Super Smash Brothers for Wii U and 3D. This reeks of some cut and paste action.
Yeah, that's funny.
Ampersand. And Justin's Hail Mary. Have we had this yet?
Last
Guardian.
Nice.
We haven't had that yet.
I believe Space Quest would be good too. Two guys from Andromeda.
Hey, you know what's funny? Don Mingos just brought up that game company has a new game, and we might see that at E3. That'd be an interesting thing to see at E3. And it won't be exclusive, right? Like they've said, we're making it multi-platform.
I don't know.
I think they have.
I was reading, so
I think that game company said our next game won't be an exclusive title. It'll be multi-platform.
Oh, I think I remember hearing that.
Yeah.
They're
that'd be cool.
down the street, you know. They're next to the DMV.
Do you think I should just go talk to them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go. Bring the webcam. Hey, Damiani, do you want to read your own?
Yeah.
Oh, you
Damiani,
care.
be responsible for it.
People hear me?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just talk really loudly.
He's trolling. He's trolling again with this.
This is
Dogface Pig Bast. We have an editor named Don who is super psyched for Mortal Kombat.
all right.
Cuber like people.
Surprise, surprise! The Legend
Conduit
of,
3.
Legend of Zelda Wii U,
Legend of Zelda Wii U
For Damiani.
X, and
Oh gosh, he's queued it up.
Revengeance 2.
Oh gosh.
Oh, there's two.
Freaking Rule
What
of
if
Nature
Revengeance
again.
2 is Shenmue 3?
I don't think they'll use the word revengeance again. You know,
I hope not.
It'll be Metal Gear Rising 2, some other awesome word that's just a mashup.
Alright, is there one more down there?
We have one last one. Rob Manuel of the Indie Game Manual.
Oh yeah, he's got to have some cool ones. What's he
They're
got?
not that exciting.
Oh?
Well, firstly, No Man's Sky, which is
That's
legit.
good, that's good, yeah.
Secondly, The Witness.
Oh, that one's hard for me.
We've seen it a lot, so for anticipated.
I feel like I don't want to see that game at E3. I
Enough.
just want to play it.
You've seen it enough.
Yeah.
It's time to just hop in that world and play it.
A really cool interview with Jonathan Blow should be up now.
Yeah, it's on the site. I saw
Yeah.
it.
Cool. All right.
Pretty good.
And then our final staff pick for most anticipated E3 games.
Oh, what's up? I'm
Below.
back.
And now we have Brandon Jones back just in time for GameTrailers.com's top 10 most anticipated games of E3 2014.
Top list.
What was that again?
So we did our top 10 anticipated games, which everyone's going to be angry about. There's nothing you can do. There's so many awesome games that are going to be at E3, but we really toiled over it. We really there's I think some shocks and surprises in store for you guys. So are we ready to roll it, or should we chat about it for a little bit? Are we going to do commentary over it, or what?
Do you want to do commentary or do you want to be muted?
No, let's roll it.
Let's
All right,
commentary.
so I want to.
We can commentary afterwards.
All right,
You
I'm
can
gonna
see what
mute-
they're screaming
so I'm
about.
gonna mute you guys. I'm gonna switch over.
The day of reckoning in video games has almost arrived, and there are way more than 10 titles you should be excited about. So when we try to create a short list, we have to really define what anticipation means to us. We're excited to play Super Smash Bros., but have probably seen almost all we're going to see before launch day. We're ready for more Halo, but doubtful it'll win the show. We cannot wait to see the following games for very specific reasons, and if our dreams come true, these could be the biggest news stories of E3.
What has happened to me?
Number 10. Mirror's Edge. Mirror's Edge, released in 2008, was something new, a first-person parkour adventure. Instead of killing scores of generic enemies, we ran. We ran in a way that was freeing, moving gracefully over obstacles and leaping across fatal chasms. Visually, the game hit us with a clean, bold look, but despite its innovations, Mirror's Edge often stumbled with a jumbled story and a broken shooting mechanic. Parkour is now common in games, but we still long for what the original game was trying to do. If a sequel could keep its unique gameplay but avoid its faceplants, that would be almost like Defying Gravity. Number 9. Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. Earlier this year, we were given the chance to play a slice of Metal Gear Solid 5 in the form of Ground Zeroes. While the game received a mixed reaction to say the least, Kojima himself has gone on to state that the Phantom Pain is 200 times bigger than that of its predecessor, and might even be too big to finish. With an epic E3 trailer last year and an additional tease from Kojima saying this next trailer will be disturbing, we can't wait to see what he has in store. The franchise has had some of its best moments at E3, but we're keeping it cautiously at number 9.
Number 8. X.
Xenoblade Chronicles is perhaps the best JRPG of the last generation. Its combat system is complex and innovative, the world is enormous, and the story is captivating. The mere announcement of an HD sequel is enough to get us excited, but last year's E3 trailer is what put X on our most anticipated list. It shows wide grassy fields with hulking beasts, desert plains where lightning sears the sky, and giant purple spaceships that look oddly organic. There's so much grandeur and mystery that we just desperately want to explore this world, uncovering all of its secrets for ourselves. So many games promise adventure, but X actually looks like it'll be able to deliver.
Number 7. Uncharted 4.
Naughty Dog rarely disappoints, especially at E3, and even with the recent studio shakeups, we're expecting to pick our jaws up off the floor after the team exits the Sony stage. At this point, the next Uncharted is a tease in the wind, but after the first trilogy and the more recent Last of Us, we can't wait to see how they'll shock us in the PlayStation 4. We're used to onstage demos, but even a well-made trailer is enough to tantalize a place on our list.
Number 6. No Man's Sky.
We've explored outer space and plenty of other games, but No Man's Sky promises something different. Every single planet, star, and sun that we soar to will be procedurally generated. The idea that each time we play, we'll be taken to some new, uncharted setting is very exciting. No Man's Sky looks to offer a galaxy that won't feel like a giant checklist, but instead makes the simple act of uncovering a new area thrilling as we poke and prod at the unknown. We have no idea whether or not No Man's Sky can make good on its grand ambitions, but that's exactly why we're so interested to find out more at E3.
Number 5. Star Wars Battlefront.
There were lots of games we lamented when LucasArts lost relevance and was eventually shut down, but no Star Wars title was sought after last generation more than Battlefront. So when EA announced that DICE was redeploying laser blasters and snow speeders on current consoles, our expectations returned in full force. The brief teaser sufficed in 2013, but next week, we want gameplay, and lots of it. With details being leaked about Star Wars Episode 7 already, maybe we'll see a new planet, character, or vehicle. Battlefront has also been known to bring expanded story elements into the fray before, and with so much Star Wars on the horizon, there are a lot of inspiring projects to draw from. Honestly, we just can't wait to pick off Gungans and Ewoks in HD.
Number 4. The Legend of Zelda Wii U.
Regardless of how you felt about our hopes and wishes for the next Zelda, it's hard to deny that at this point, we're all anxiously awaiting the official reveal of Link's new adventure. Other than the fact that we know it's in development, we know very little about the game. Eiji Aonuma stated the new Zelda will challenge the series' traditional conventions, citing concepts like completing dungeons in a specific order or playing by yourself. The longtime Zelda producer also revealed some insight into the game's style, saying the new Zelda would not strive for an ultra-realistic look, and that the setting would be one that nobody had ever imagined before. All we know is that Nintendo delivered on similar promises for A Link Between Worlds, so there's hope for the future. It's been a long wait, but we just might get our first glimpse at what Zelda will look like on the Wii U at this E3.
Number 3. Final Fantasy 15.
If not for the spectacular showing it had last year, it's very likely this game wouldn't have come close to making our list. But from out of nowhere, after months of speculation it was cancelled, Final Fantasy Versus 13 showed itself once more with an amazing trailer at Sony's press conference, and ended up shocking everyone with its final moments as its title shattered and reformed. We also got an extended look at the game in action, though we were denied the chance to either get hands-on with 15 or see a live demonstration on the show floor. We've barely seen anything new in the year since, and we're a bit anxious that Square Enix will tear out our hearts after believing in this long overdue sequel once again. At this point, we know it looks good, but what we really want is to get some hands-on impressions to know if it's been worth the wait.
Number 2. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt.
The Witcher games have quickly become some of our favorite RPGs, with great characters and a rich world based on the Polish novels. Most significantly, they offer a mature take on choice, with consequences that feel meaningful, and decisions that don't fall into the stereotypical good and evil categories. The Witcher 3 is looking to expand on those traits with a reworked combat system, more emphasis on actually tracking monsters, and a large, interconnected open world. Last E3, the game made a huge impression behind closed doors. Now it's time for the world to see why.
Number 1. Project Beast.
And like that, Webums are legitimized. We try to stay away from rumor and speculation when formulating this list, but when those leaked screenshots started moving, we were in. Dripping with atmosphere and wielding a shotgun all emblazoned with the From Software logo, we now have a glimmer of just what Miyazaki has been toiling on these past years. Don't port beg, and do believe. Project Beast is what we're waiting for, and what it symbolizes, the surprise, the future, is just the sort of giddy anticipation we want from the big show. Will E3 legitimize our dreams or crush them? Either way, we're on tenterhooks wondering what could be. We're ready to unleash this beast.
Webums.
You absolutely cannot miss our live coverage of E3 that begins at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time next Monday, June 9th on Spike and Game Trailers. We'll be streaming all the major press conferences along with talking to lots of live guests and playing demos you won't see anywhere else. Until then, keep anticipating.
So yeah,
all right, Webums.
There it is. Everyone loved it, of course. No, there was lots of dissension, as we want in countdowns.
Right.
But I wrote down some stuff that popped up that maybe we might have some time. How much time do we have?
You have like 8 minutes.
Okay, we got 8 minutes to cover this stuff. Kingdom Hearts 3 not in there. People were upset. Kingdom Hearts 3. Are you excited for Kingdom Hearts 3? There is someone in this room, maybe not in front of the camera.
I
that's excited
enjoy
for
watching
Kingdom
the
Hearts 3.
trailers, and that's about the end of it.
But I didn't think we were going to see anything from the show. And they also mentioned Final Fantasy 15. It's not going to be there, guys. And we didn't. We picked the list earlier in the week, so it was before that announcement had been made.
Yeah, it was pretty much done by the time the announcement got made.
But
we could have maybe swapped it out, but I don't know.
I still wonder what it means. Like, it quote unquote won't be at E3. Does that mean it won't be playable? Does it mean it won't be at the convention center? Does that mean it's not going to be in their press conference? Might be in another one.
Right.
We still don't necessarily know what that means. So yeah, it wasn't as big of an announcement for us to like retract the fact that we're really excited about it. That still kind of framed our expectations. Anything to add, Mr. Stevens?
We've put a moratorium on Last Guardian. It's not allowed to be on lists.
Oh yeah,
anymore,
definitely.
Just to let you guys know.
Yeah, there's no
it's
real.
not allowed.
No real
Also,
reason to believe that it will be there.
High stealth.
Hopefully, it will happen.
Yeah, big stealth.
Hey, Mike. This will be archived, right, for people to watch later. So, Acid Trip 69, you can watch this after we're done. We'll have an archive for you.
Yeah, and Smash Brothers that we didn't mention. We give it some lip service in the opening.
Yeah.
That we've seen so much stuff that it gets into that. We're not saying it'll be great at the show. It's that word anticipation. It's that like, oh my god, what if Nintendo showed this for Smash Brothers? It's like that blank in that sentence. You can't really come up with a lot because they've already showed a lot of great stuff.
Yeah, they've done.
It's going to be a fun game. We're going to see it played, by all sorts of crazy people, during the show. So not really a lot to anticipate there. No Man's Sky, I think, was a surprise. I saw a lot of people that were excited. We gave out some indie love.
Giant Snake. That was.
Yeah, even just now watching
word.
The trailer in the stream, we were like, oh my god, can you imagine if that game is actually as good as it looks? And again, building up on that anticipation. And even if you have, I think we said something to the effect, I don't remember who specifically wrote that entry for the countdown, but we're like, it could be terrible. It could not work at all. We could play a demo and everything just falls apart.
Jeremy Hoffman, we just have one question for you from the. What Microsoft games are you looking forward to play with your Google Glass?
Oh man, all of them. I'm sorry, did I cut straight
out?
Is there games at E3?
Yeah,
I'm so tired right now.
Seriously, people, there's a lot of hate out there for this man, but this man is the reason you're going to see so much amazing stuff on Monday.
We've been working 19, 20 hours a day for the last...
I should be working right
4
now.
weeks. Yeah, that's why
He's actually in here to
I
yell
literally
at
came in to yell at Kyle and Jones. And to tell you we got some footage that you want to see.
I saw it.
Okay.
All of it.
That's the tease. No, so we're literally getting in all the footage right now for next Monday. So... we've got a lot of good stuff. We got
that starts at what, 8:45?
Yeah, 8:45 in the morning. We'll be streaming. What are we asking? Kinect games?
There's all sorts of stuff.
I want some Fantasia.
Hello, monsters.
Yeah,
it's fun. No, I think it's gonna be a really good show. I've got it kind of some hints from knowing what footage we have in the show on Monday, and it's gonna be really fun.
I think press conferences are gonna rock.
I think it's going to be, I don't know how much, we've talked about it a lot. I think it's not going to be a lot of demos. I think there will be some key demos. I think it's going to be a lot of game announcements, a lot of CG trailers, a lot of secrets that people aren't expecting at this point. So,
yeah.
I think a lot of games that come out in 2015. It's the problem with all of that. Okay, I'm heading out.
Okay.
Send me emails.
I'll send you
I just
emails.
talked to
I'll be here all
Huber.
night. Yeah.
Talked to Huber. I want all the footage list and the logo list by the end of the night. Cool. Thanks, guys.
I don't know what you guys are doing this weekend, but I'm going to be downtown all day tomorrow and the next day. Loading up all sorts of awesome
I'm actually
footage.
going home to cook 10 more or 5 more pounds of Cheez-Its.
Oh, good. I want some
Yeah.
Cheez-Its.
Legendary Cheez-Its.
Jeremy Hoffman, ladies and gentlemen.
Let me know.
I love Banjo-Kazooie.
Oh man, Banjo would be great.
Oh, and me and you're going to be on the show for a couple minutes.
Yeah, we're going to have... Okay, yeah. Rohan and Ryan and I are going to say our piece before a couple of the press conferences on Monday.
Hopefully.
Zelda was not number one. How did that happen? Zelda. Damiani, number one. What?
It's an assumption.
Yeah.
There's still like that level of, well, we're pretty sure it'll be there, but there's no real reason for us to believe that it will
Like
be
when
there.
anticipation turns to pain, and your brain starts working against you, and you're like, don't take that too far.
So I do have to ask real quick, Jones.
I'll take it. I'll accept that.
Anything on Disney Infinity you wanted to mention?
Well, I'm going to go and play the game next week. It should be super fun. Well, they had their big announcement, and they're so horrible with their teases at Disney. They're just like, we might be showing more people, and it's like, you mean Rocket Raccoon and Spider-Man and Maleficent and Merida, the people that were already in the trailer you showed us? So they can be really upfront about it. I don't know. It's like the Fisher-Price version of teasers. It's like teasers for children. They want it's like Highlights magazine. Where you can tell the difference between the two covers. Yeah, spot the extra teases. But certainly, definitely excited to play that. Excited to play Batman. Excited to play Witcher. Excited to see Dying Light. All sorts of stuff. Yeah, Last Guardian we cried about. Oh yeah, and people were surprised that X got edged out by Phantom Pain, and I think it was like Ground Zeroes was the big thing.
No, that it edged out Phantom Pain.
That X edged out Phantom Pain, yeah. I think it was just Ground Zeroes kind of... I mean, we've seen this the scale in proportion to Ground Zeroes, Phantom Pain, and that looks just, bonkers that it's that big. But again, it's that anticipation. It's just that, there's so much about X that we just really want to see, whereas... when you think about Metal Gear, it's like, okay, I'm excited to see it, but I'm not going to go ahead to think I have all these crazy ideas, or I'm piecing together all the stuff that I've already seen and trying to come up with a vision of it. Whereas that just describes X to me. It's just everything. Again, when we watched the footage in the countdown just now, and we streamed on the stream, I was like, oh my god, look at that! That looks incredible. I wonder if it plays as good as that is. Whereas we've already technically played the model of what Phantom Pain is going to be. It's really just bosses, environments, all that extra stuff that we haven't seen yet that they'll probably roll out.
And there's still so many games that didn't make the list. It's in the opening montage. I mean, I know I still really want to check out Alien Isolation, personally,
Definitely.
But I want new games. Announce new games, and that aren't sequels. Some sequels are okay, but new games, please.
Should I get a T-shirt?
I want new genres.
New games that you wear.
The new genres. It sounds like an 80s band or something. I don't know.
Yeah. That'd be good.
You know, wear t-shirts.
What
You're supposed to wear a t-shirt for this.
Huh? I was?
Oh,
wait, wasn't there a
what happened
contest
to
or
your
something?
t-shirt?
You were supposed to wear a t-shirt.
No one told me.
You wrote
No,
it in an
you
email.
said you would.
But I said there were circumstances that I thought that was like a bet or something that I was going to lose.
You just wrote, I'm going to wear a t-shirt. And we were like, what?
Oh.
Your first E3 t-shirt.
Wait, an inter-office email?
Yeah, about this stream.
Those don't mean anything.
About this stream.
That's like a stream. I was joking. That's where I come from. Is what we call pillow talk, Ryan. It's just the whole.
Tell me more.
Are we done? Are we wrapping it up?
Wrapping it up.
All right.
Wrapping it up.
So I would like to say
so
one last thing.
Damiani is law, and he's telling us to wrap it up.
We'll be streaming every night during E3 with impressions, eyes on, behind closed doors, all that other stuff.
So you know what you can do? You can sign up for us right now on Twitch, and then you'll get a nice pretty email every single time we jump on. You'll be like, oh my god, more E3 stuff, because we are not going to jump on unless we got something super hot to talk about.
And Damiani, you're going to have some new animated GIFs. Oh yeah, some
and it couldn't be faster. Like literally, we're gonna come straight from the show to here, sit down and talk about it, and it's gonna keep going because you can't see all of E3 in one day. So it's gonna take us 3 whole days to get through it. But it all starts Monday, 9 a.m. on Spike, 8:45 on GameTrailers, 9 a.m. on Spike, and we'll be going all day through all the press conferences and everything. Jack Tretton is gonna be there to talk about everything, to talk about Sony right after the Sony press conference. So don't miss it. Thank you guys for watching all of this stuff. Buttons, of course, buttons.
Buttons,
We're asking about buttons.
Also, Vanquish 2. Okay, bye.
back on.
Hey guys, mandatory update in Game Trailers. Elise Willems here. We've had a bunch of controversy in the office lately regarding double jumps at E3. I would just like you all to know that it's absolute BS. Hashtag no double jumps at E3. I'm rooting for it. I hope you guys are too. Thanks for watching the stream. GT for life. What can I say? Enjoy E3.